It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
Hey, good morning, Minneapolis, St. Paul. How about those Timberwolves? I mean, they're the most exciting team in basketball. And I don't know about the Twins yet. I mean, I'm surprised they had a slow start, but they're coming. They're going to be coming back. And I'll tell you something that's never left, and that's Marcus Theaters. Don't forget, every Tuesday, $6 gets you into any Marcus Theater to see any movie you want. There's no other deal like it. The comfortable seats, the fabulous food, the concession. Marcus Theaters, the best of the best. Hey, I think I got a hot love nugget for you. Lady Gaga and her boyfriend, Michael Polanski, been dating for 6 years. I hear they're planning a wedding. Polanski is the CEO of the Parker Group and is also one of the world's leaders in finding money for cancer research. Michael hates publicity. Gaga demands her privacy. Well, with that in mind and being together 6 years, it sounds like a perfect match. My favorite sporting event starts tomorrow. As my old buddy Jim Nance would say, a tradition like no other, the Masters. And a lot of Hollywood stars will be in Augusta to watch the 4-day event, including Adam Sandler, Justin Timberlake, Cameron Diaz, Bill Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Jessica Alba, Michael Jordan, and others. Tiger Woods is playing but not expected to win. In fact, where I shop, I got 60-1 odds. I put a few bucks down. That will change, I'm sure, in the next day or so. It's according to where you shop. Movie news, I am really excited about Horizon, an American Saga, Chapter 1. This is the first of two movies by Kevin Costner, a look at the Civil War and how it turned into thousands and thousands of people relocating to the Wild West. The Chapter 1 will be released June 18th. The Horizon American Saga Chapter 2 sometime late fall or early winter. It'll be, of course, at Marcus Theaters. More movie news. Back to Black is the biography of Amy Winehouse. The movie stars Marissa Abella as Amy, and Marissa does all the singing in the film. Amy Winehouse died at the age of 27. The official cause of her death, simply intoxication. How sad. The movie is a must for Winehouse fans, but I don't see it as big box office. It'll open nationwide again at Marcus Theaters. The best kept secret, though, is Sweet Dreams. Sweet Dreams, the movie. It'll be streaming April 16th. Streaming April 16th. It's a comedy, drama, sports movie about a bunch of drunks and dope addicts who are sentenced to a rehab. The rehab is called Sweet Dreams. That's the name of this old broken down 2-story house. They have a rehab. When a new member shows up, he decides to do something different and talks all the other rehab guys into starting a softball team. Johnny Knoxville and Kate Upton and others star. Sweet Dreams, 4 stars. Look for it. 95 minutes. Sweet Dreams. Hey, have a great day. We'll do it again tomorrow. Mike Evans, see ya.
Hey, this is Steve Gorman, and this is the best of the KQ Morning Show on 92 KQRS.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
A Gila monster is a carnivorous reptile, Candace. It's like a giant lizard.
I should have known.
Think of the old Johnny Quest cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
Those would always come and attack people.
That's exactly right. It is a venomous lizard native to the southwestern United States and northwestern Mexico. It's generally not something people are too worried about. It's a pretty sluggish animal. They rarely pose a threat to humans. But a guy in Colorado has 2 of them as pets, apparently, for some bizarre reason. And this man, he was bitten fatally by his own Gila monsters. He was taken to the hospital last week and died on Friday. And it was the juvenile of the 2 pets. Thing's only 12 inches long. Just like with a venomous snake, you'd much rather have an adult snake bite you than a juvenile snake because the adult knows how much venom to put out into anything it bites, where juvenile snakes just throw the whole load into you. So, like, if you see 2 rattlesnakes and you have to step on one, step on the bigger one. The little one will just put all of its venom on that bite, and you're way worse off. And apparently that's what this Gila monster did. You need a license to own a Gila monster. Boy, I just can't imagine that feeling of, I love these animals. They're so cool. Oh, crap. And then like, uh-oh. That's not good.
Give us a kiss. They have those weird darting tongues.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Whew, man, I am not a fan of our reptile friends. There's not. I've never seen a reptile yet that I want to have anything to do with. That's just me. If you tell me that I got to hang out with reptiles, I'm going to say, well, just give me plenty of that giggle water, baby.
Giggle water.
Giggle water. That's right, Candace. Back in the roaring 20s, not the current 20s, 100 years ago, that was a delightful term used to describe liquor or any alcoholic beverage. Giggle water.
I like that.
I feel like everything makes me giggle, though. So
Really?
do I just get double giggles?
I guess. I just want to walk into a bar one day and go, okay, Sam, how about some of that giggle water, huh?
Coming right up, Mr. G.
Give me some of that giggle water. Is there any giggle water that makes you angry, Candace? Is there a certain type of hooch that'll piss you off?
Oh, I turn into Jim Morrison if I drink too much whiskey.
Whiskey?
Yeah.
What does that mean to turn into Jim Morrison?
You just start talking to yourself, singing to yourself, twirling around.
Okay, all right.
Feeling yourself.
I didn't know if that meant you expose yourself in front of large crowds, taunt New Haven
that
police
was never
officers.
proven. Never proven.
I didn't know if that meant you go to Paris and start buying a lot of heroin. I wasn't sure what that meant. Another word, talk about words, they come and go. Bippy. In the 1960s on Laugh-In, they used to say, you bet your sweet Bippy.
Right.
Wow. Bippy. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, on that show, they did that. You bet your sweet Bippy. That was the. And they had the Fickled Finger of Fate Award.
The say that again?
Fickled Finger of Fate Award.
The Fickled Finger of Fate Award. Okay.
You bet your sweet Bippy.
Oh, fair enough. If you want to say something's corny, you could say, "Oh, that's off the cob." That's an old saying. I'm not digging
like
that
that
one
at all.
because nothing's corny anymore. It's corny to use the word anything about corny. Happy cabbage. That's cash. That's just when someone's flush. They got a lot of happy cabbage. Yeah, I like that one. All right, giggle water. I'm going to bring it back. I'm feeling good about giggle water.
I like giggle water.
Every day towards the end of the show, we do a sports and music history lesson. But check this out. Here's a few things that are not either sports nor history related, but I find fascinating. Okay, that happened on this day. Check this out. In 1931, Alka-Seltzer was first introduced. 93 years ago, Alka-Seltzer.
You find that fascinating, do you?
Yeah, I didn't know they could make things like that dissolve in water that long ago. But here's the really crazy part. You remember the Plop Plop Fizz Fizz jingle?
Oh, what a relief it is.
You remember it?
Sure.
Plop Plop Fizz Fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. That jingle that ad campaign was devised by actress Julianne Margulies' father. Julianne Margulies?
Julianne Margulies.
Margulies. I knew I was doing it wrong.
From ER.
From ER.
And The Good Wife.
And The Good Wife. Her dad came up with that jingle.
Oh, how about that?
Go figure. I don't know. I think it's always good to, find out things you didn't know. How about this? The first self-developing instant camera was introduced on this day in 1947, and it was called by its inventor a Polaroid. The first time you could just and then shake a picture, and then you get a picture.
Yeah, I love the Polaroid.
How long do you think it took when he developed that camera and it worked and he was taking a piece like, oh my God, boom, picture of the dog. And there it is. 2 minutes later, and boom, picture of my Philco radio. There it is. How long before he went, honey, take your shirt off? Yeah, seriously. It's first, it's what's going to happen.
Of course.
Sometimes if we have a girl gathering, with the Richfield 7.
The Richfield 7,
we'll bring
sure.
one of those kinds of cameras just for nostalgia. So we used to just, all of our rooms, our walls were just covered in dumb photos of us taken
Here's
by
us.
My daughter Marley is a big fan of the rebooted small instant cameras of the last decade, and the wall in her bedroom. She has one wall in her bedroom that's completely covered with those pictures.
Nice.
I mean, it's a couple thousand of them probably.
Yep.
She and it's the same thing. All the gals.
Yep,
They're not the Richfield 7. They're the Nashville Mean Girls, I call them. No, I don't actually call them that. But I used to date a mean girl. Her name was Rosemary. And when we were first together, she was the one who was always like, look, we're not a couple. And I'd be like, I know. I didn't say we were. But she's like, I can just tell you're trying to. And I was like, I'm not trying to lock you down, lady. Because she had just had a painful breakup when we started hanging out, and she was just convinced I was just trying to, and of course the tables turned at some point, and I'm like, I don't want to be in a relationship. She's like, what the hell are you talking about? Anyway, we went to see a movie in 1989 together. I loved every minute of it. It was called When Harry Met Sally. And it was so charming, and it was so funny, and it was just great. And the movie ended, and we walked out, and I was like, man, that was hilarious. That was great. And I'm just thinking about how funny it was. She goes, yeah, you're just thinking, oh, that's going to be us one day. Like, she just, like, and I was like, wow. And I said to her, I said, what are you, some kind of Gila monster? I didn't say that. I said, what is wrong with you? I just enjoyed the movie. She's like, I know. She was just a little, she's just a little worried, and I get it. I mean, guys were always hitting on her, and it was just a thing, and, she just felt, but we worked it all out, and oddly enough, we've been married forever now. So, but Harry Met Sally, if you remember seeing it that first time, it really was, First and foremost, even better than heartwarming. It was just hilarious.
Well, it's a quintessential rom-com.
Bruno Kirby and Carrie Fisher, the greatest side couple in a rom-com ever, probably funniest anyway. And every bit of it is so funny and so endearing. And Rob Reiner, of course, directed that film. Our good friend Rob Reiner, who we had on the show a few months ago, I think we exchanged texts all the time now. Well, actually, that's not true. I just wish we did, because man, I love talking with him. He gave an interview recently, and he said, "Oh, When Harry Met Sally, yeah, we changed that. In the original version, they don't end up together."
No.
What?
That's a fact. When they were preparing to make that film, the original script that everybody signed off on and agreed on was that they don't end up together.
Well, that's no fun.
They're friends. They keep intersecting in the better part of a decade. And he was at a point where he's like, I guess it's just not going to happen. And he had a few women. And then at one point it just ends, and it's more of a bittersweet, like, isn't this how life goes? It seems like it should have worked, but it didn't. Aw. And then Rob Reiner, because here's the deal. Rob Reiner's first marriage had ended in divorce with Penny Marshall. And he was single had met, and they reconnected with some old flames, and it never worked. And that was the way he was putting that movie forward to reflect his own life. And then right as they were like in pre-production, he met a woman named Michelle Singer, who ended up now, and to this day, is still his wife. They've been married for, over 30 years. So it was only because he found love again right before they shut the film where he's like, I think I want to change the ending of this movie.
See, that was a true rom-com. It was kismet.
Yeah, I said what earlier. What? All shocked and stuff because I'm such a great actress. I've never seen that movie ever. But now I won't because it's fake. It's all based on lies.
Oh, Deech, you got to see it.
It's all fake. It's all based on lies. A girl who listens to Black Sabbath records.
Whoa, all right.
I'm sorry.
Pump those brakes.
They're writing some lyrics that I don't think they're out there doing all. They're not in a coven, whatever you'd call it. You've never seen When Harry Met Sally, really?
Nope.
It'll please you. It's a wonderful it's a delightful romp.
It's adorbs. Adorbs.
I'm down
to
romp.
Adorbs. And you've got young Clemenza in there, Bruno Kirby.
Yes.
Such an underrated actor in everything he's in.
Oh, he's so good.
So very, very good.
Just remember the phrase baby fish mouth. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
Oh, wait, yeah. Baby fish
They're playing
mouth.
Pictionary.
That's exactly right.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
Another city council meeting in California of a different tone. This is the Rancho Cordova City Council. They are up in arms because there's a pretty big, strong movement to change a street name. They have a road known as Poopanot. Poopenaut. Poopanot. And there's a sign, the picture we show, there's a sign below the street name that says no dumping. Meaning, don't put your trash here. However, the street is called, again, Poopanot. Which is either, I think two things. One, astronaut. So this is, Poopanot is somebody who goes deep into deep into research into, not astro, but rarely poop. Or it's basically, Poopanot might be German for don't poop here. It's Poopanot area. It's not to poop. Not to poop.
It's what Josh Dobbs turned into. He was the pastronaut, but he just turned into a Poopanot.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that pumpkin, boy, when midnight struck on Dobbs. But that's the kind of thing that happens. You get a street name. It makes sense at one point.
Yeah.
And then city councils get together and people hang on for dear life because it's always been called that. We can't change it.
Yeah.
There is a road in Alabama called Booger Hollow Road.
Yeah.
Booger Hollow.
That's where the kid that ate the paste in high school lives.
Pretty much, yeah, Booger Hollow. And I know that there's also a street in Arizona. There is a town called Holbrook, Arizona, and they have a street called the Bucket of Blood Street.
Yo,
Wow.
that's cool. Yeah,
It was after a street fight back in like the 1880s when the town was founded. He's over there on a Bucket of Blood Street.
Yeah,
Why do you call it that? Well, because we were bucketing off the blood after the gunfight. I mean, it's pretty simple stuff.
Do you have to like weld these signs to the pole? Because
Pretty
any
much.
college kid cruising through town, I'm grabbing that one.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Make no mistake about it. And I was Rosemary and I went up to Two Harbors a Labor Day weekend up there north of Duluth. We were up on the lake. I mean, it was gorgeous. Everybody said we were going to love it. Undersold the gorgeousness of going up north like that. But I did notice when we were there, Castle Danger Road. There's a Castle Danger Brewery.
Yeah.
There's all these things.
Oh, the
And
best.
at some point, and it's funny because you see this, Castle Danger, and then at some point you go, wait, Castle Danger? The hell does that mean?
Alert.
What? Yeah. Was there a castle here? What's the danger? Is there? Do I need a sword? Is there going to be like a? Do I need armor? What's happening? Castle Danger just goes right back to like that's old school knights in shining armor stuff to me. Just saying.
When I lived in Italy, we lived on a road called Via del Inferno. Translation?
Yeah.
Anyone?
Of the City of Fire.
Highway to Hell, baby.
Wow. Inferno? That's not hell.
Yes,
That's
it is.
fire.
No, in Italian, it's
Really?
hell.
That's pretty strong. There is here in Minneapolis. There's a
Dante's
street
Inferno.
called Traffic Street. What's up with that?
Well, just not very imaginative, That's how you get a now then. Somebody goes, what are we going to name our town? Now then. All right, good enough. Let's just type it up, punch it in there. We'll take it.
I saw Traffic Street and I thought it's a couple things. Maybe someone's just a giant Steve Winwood and Jim Capaldi fan.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
we could call it Beetle Street. Let's go with Traffic Street.
How can you not be a big
Well, that's true. Traffic's
fan?
pretty great.
How about Oink Joint Road in Wadena? Oink Joint. The old Oink Joint.
Is that true? Oink Joint?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
Barbecue place.
Wow.
Farm, maybe? I don't know.
Talk about that. I mean, how many euphemisms could we invent for Oink Joint?
Right.
Old Oink Joint. How about Limberdink?
I'm going right.
What'd you call me?
Also, with that, both those street names invoke for me the '80s franchise Porky's movies.
Right.
Oh, Porky's.
I'm just going straight back. Hey man, you any Oink Joint over the weekend? Like, what are you talking about?
Well, in Egan, you have Pilot Knob Road and Johnny Cake.
Oh, yeah, Johnny Cake, yeah.
Johnny
For
Cake?
sure.
Yeah, Johnny Cake.
Wow. Remember The Sopranos? Johnny Cakes? That whole episode? Vito up there in New Hampshire getting his freak on. Yeah, that was pretty good. St. Cloud has Timberdoodle Drive. Timberdoodle. That's when you've that's a mixed breed. It's a poodle and an elm tree. Timberdoodle. It's a weird sort of mix right there.
Oh,
Dana writes on the Keiki Facebook page, there's a whiskey road in Isanti.
Well, that's
Oh,
cool.
yeah, well, yeah. In Brainerd, Fireball Drive.
Yeah, there's no
Nice.
shortage of whiskey on the roads in Isanti. I can tell you that right now.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I never knew this term. This is the thing, bed rotting, R-O-T-T-I-N-G, bed rotting.
Yeah.
It's now been added to dictionary.com. They put in 327 new words and terms, and that one jumps out to me. The definition for bed rotting, the practice of spending many hours in bed during the day, often with snacks or an electronic device, as a voluntary retreat from activity or stress, or as I call it, the 90s on tour.
Oh, they were going to say Sunday.
No,
Sunday.
that's you get a few weeks into a tour that you know is going to last a year and a half, and all you know is I don't have to go anywhere till 4 p.m. I can't leave this room. Really can't leave the bed. I'm just going to sit here and just I'm going to disarm and let it all out, and then I'm going to put on again the armor at 3:55 and walk out and prepare for the for the trials and tribulations of life in an incredibly dysfunctional rock band. And that's just not me. That's everybody in every band I know.
Yeah.
You hit a point on tour when you're just like, yeah, bed rotting. I wish I'd had that expression.
I'm not getting a bed rotting. Well, just as long long as you don't develop sores. By the way, do not Google bed sores.
Ew.
And I only say that because now you're going to want to Google it.
Yeah.
It's going to bug you all day. Bed sores. Yeah, no, bed rotting. Yeah, it's we used to call it just being a couch potato, but that's a different thing when you don't get out of bed.
Yeah, no, I really, it's not a badge of pride to say, oh my God, I look back at the years of my life, I probably could have been far more active and invested in something other than just staring at the wall going, please just slow down. I don't want 4 o'clock to get here. Here's another one that's going into dictionary.com. The ick, I-C-K, a sudden feeling of disgust or dislike, often in response to the actions of another person.
Oh
Yeah, I
Candace
say
just
that a
gave me
lot.
the ick. Yeah.
My first thought was of Candace. Not because I feel the ick when as a
good.
response to the actions of Candace Wheeler, but because I believe I've heard Candace use that expression.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of things give me the ick.
Well, there you have it. Here's what. Do you know what this is, Candace? Girl dinner.
Oh, yeah. It's when you go out with your girls and you just get a bunch of little things to share.
Oh,
Yeah,
happy
plates.
hour.
Apps.
An attractively presented collection of snacks that involve little preparation is what. So yeah, it's just, you guys just get out and you have a little. It's like tapas, but it's not Spanish.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh,
it's just
yeah,
little. I'll just have a little sample. It's like a whole meal where everyone says things like, "Should we just get this for the table?" And the answer is yes
That's
to every one of those
every
questions.
time I go out with a certain group of my college friends, we always do that.
Oh, so
Yeah.
not the Richfield 7,
No.
but a different group.
No.
Does this group have a name?
Bailey Hall. Yeah.
Bailey Hall.
We were all
The Bailey Hall Barbies.
kids. Yeah, that's
Man,
cute.
that's a CW show waiting to happen.
The Bailey Hall Barbies.
Okay, I've never heard this one. Bussin'.
Oh yeah.
Bussin', meaning great, wonderful, or amazing.
My friend Jessica says it a lot.
Really? That's new to me. I've heard mid, M-I-D, mid, mediocre, unimpressive, or disappointing. Sort of the opposite of bussin', I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard of when you hear stories of steroid use and dudes pumping iron and cranking that stuff into their body, they always get back knee, which is acne on the back. Here's a new one. Boob knee, which is pimples or a rash caused by your bra. Not a problem for Candace, who loves to remind us.
I have not worn a bra since before COVID.
Since before COVID.
No boob knee. For that gives me the ick. When I think of boob knee, I think of, that makes sense, I guess. But, take it off and feel free to rinse every once in a while.
You hear people say the words since before COVID in any number of reference points, and it's usually, I haven't seen him since before COVID. I haven't done that. I haven't been in the office since before COVID. I haven't heard that song since before. And with Candace, it's always, I haven't worn a bra since before COVID.
Yeah.
Well, why would I go back?
No one's suggesting you should. It's not. It's your business. It's your. You do what you got to do. How about this one? A range anxiety. Anybody know what range anxiety is?
Fear of the great outdoors, wide open spaces. I don't know.
There is that. This is the fear that an electric vehicle's battery will run out of power before you get to where you're going.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah, it's not like you can just throw a can of charged energy in the back of the vehicle, and you gotta, until they get more of those charging stations in. And now people are stealing the frickin' cords off charging stations. A friend of mine lives in Uptown. Was particularly stressed out because there's copper and precious metals in there, and hoople-head criminals are going out and stealing them. So I guess, all right, a little anxiety there coming in with the electric vehicle.
My wife gets range anxiety just in our regular car. When the thing comes up, it'll go ding, and it says 50 miles to empty. She's immediately pull over, get a gas station. I'm like, that says 50. This happened just the other day. That says 50, which means 100. And she's like, no. We've had this conversation for over 30 years. She's like, honey, just but just go get the gas. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to, but I'm not going to give it 1 second of thought, because before you know it, we're going to see an exit and it'll be there. Why are we even talking about this? You know how highways are laid out. You know where gas stations are. We're good. It's always been a thing. This past summer, I drove to L.A. with my son in his, we took his car out there because he had a semester out on the West Coast. And we crossed into California on I-40 from Nevada. And that light came on. I was driving his car at that moment, and I was like, yeah, we probably got some time. And we literally drove 80 miles before we found a gas station.
Yeah.
And the last 20, I was doing like 45 miles an hour just because I thought, well, I mean, this is going to save it. And, again, it's like a Toyota Corolla. It gets a great mileage, but it was way below zero. And it was, I didn't know you could go 80 miles between gas stations anywhere in America. And we didn't, and the one we found wasn't on the maps in the phone. I'm like, dude, open up your map, say gas station near me. And it was not listed. It was like a brand new 76 filling station. And I thought to myself as I saw it, I was like, "Is this an oasis? Am I anxiety hallucinating because of this?" And we walked into the store, and the guy just said, "How's it going?" I said, "Man, I am so glad to see you." And he said, "Yeah, most people are." I was like, "Yeah, I bet." Yeah. Very, very stressful.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
By God, it's the middle of winter, and that means it's soup season. And by the way, soup season for me is 365. There's never a time when I will not happily put down some soup. I had a bowl of chunky soup last night. Got home. I had a very long day, a bunch of stuff I was doing. Got back to the apartment, was exhausted, and it was like I was going to get to bed early. I was like, I gotta hit the rack. But there's a can of soup calling my name before I do that. And man, there's nothing to this day. Getting out the saucepan, putting in a can of soup, and just watching it simmer is something that goes back to my childhood, my earliest days. The first thing I learned how to make myself was a can of soup.
You're like a chef, man.
My mom showed me the old Campbell soup where you'd add a can of water to it, and she'd say, "If you like it a little thicker, just put in half a can." And I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" And as a kid, I was obsessed with soup because I could make it myself, and I just felt like I couldn't do the grilled cheese. I didn't have the confidence to pull off the grilled cheese sandwich, but the soup was always there for me. Vegetable beef, Campbell's was my jam, man. And then occasionally, if there was a beef and barley, I felt like that was the soup for an adult. Made me feel like an older, like, this is the kind of soup my dad would eat, beef and barley.
Yeah, it's sophisticated.
Yeah, man. And then the old standards, the chicken noodle, of course, chicken with rice, all the Campbells. That was a big thing in the family. Mm-hmm. Oh, man, I could eat me some soup. Panera has released a survey of America's favorite soups. And this is, I'm going to use the word bunk. Well, I think this is a trash survey because apparently the number one soup is broccoli cheddar.
Hell yeah.
Oh, stop.
I'll eat that any day.
That's like a once a week soup. You eat broccoli cheddar, you would eat it more than once a week. You'd eat it every day?
No, I didn't say that. You said that. Once a week? You're crazy. I'm just saying it's a good soup.
It's good because you can dip stuff in it.
Hell yeah. I just like thick soup, man. Thick.
Soup.
Yeah.
My question is, why is Panera in the news so much? Weren't they just in the news for their violent death lemonade that, like, it has a crazy amount of energy in it or something?
Yeah, it says, "Come for the soup, stay forever for the lemonade." That's their slogan.
Yeah.
You'll love our soups. You'll never leave after you have our lemonade. It's that kind of a thing.
I'm trying to think of a soup that I would absolutely order. Oh, last night I got French onion soup. I will usually always order a French onion soup if it's on the menu.
Okay, number 3. Here's the 3 favorite soups nationwide at Panera: broccoli cheddar, home-style chicken noodle soup, and then third, creamy tomato soup. Okay, tomato soup, yeah, but if you no one has tomato soup unless you have a sandwich to dip it in, right? I mean, do you ever just see someone eating tomato soup and that's all they're having?
No.
Sometimes with vodka in it. Call it.
I get that. I totally get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the grilled cheese or even like the BLT into the tomato soup, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
But just tomato soup on its own, that's like the height of being a broke college kid to me. I've got one last can of tomato soup.
What about clam chowder?
Love it.
Yes.
I can't get enough.
Lobster bisque.
As a kid, I hated peas, but I would eat split pea soup.
Oh, God, that's good.
Peas.
Most
Any-
people use it
those?
for cooking, but I discovered that as a kid that you could just have cream of mushroom soup on its own.
Oh, I'm right there with you. Hell yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. If you make any food and just dip it and put it in broth, just cover it with water and call it soup, I'm gonna eat it and go, man, this is amazing. I am. Soup is good food, and I heard that commercial when I was a kid, and I never got past it. Soup is good food. You could say I was obsessed with soup as a child because, again, it was the first thing I knew how to make on my own. My kids look at me and they literally are like, oh, man, Dad's got the soup thing going. I just get excited about soup. I make soups at home. I have several recipes that I go to. I have an amazing cabbage soup. I'll bring some
Really?
in. Oh yeah, it'll set you free.
How about a little matzo ball soup? Have you ever enjoyed that?
Oh, many times. There was a period in the 90s where Rosemary Gorman would make chicken matzo soup with noodles sometimes without. It was my perfect, he's going to come in late from this game and he'll be drunk and he'll want to eat something and he'll always be happy with the matzo soup. Yeah, big matzo balls right there, homemade.
What's it called, Tony, in Highland Park? Cecil's?
Cecil's, absolutely.
We should
Okay.
go there for
All
lunch.
right.
Oh, good matzo ball soup.
Just remember, soup is good food, and soup is always welcome here. I'm still lifelong obsession with soup. I've never kicked the can. A lot of things I liked as a kid, I don't care about now. Soup's not one of them. I'm always there.
It's kind of funny you're so into soup.
It's I can't get enough. I like if it's chili, if it's stew, if it's
Whoa.
Yeah, chili's not soup.
Yeah, you said chili. We're talking about soup.
no. I'm not saying it is a soup. I'm saying if it's in a bowl and you need a spoon, I'm on board.
All right.
I
Gazpacho, the cold stuff?
I don't think of goulash as soup either, but I'll take that any day.
Do you find that Chunky eats like a meal?
Yeah, sure. When I was in college, Chunky over instant Spud Flakes, eat one meal for every 3 days. Oh man!
You like the cold soups, gazpacho?
If I need to, in a pinch, sure.
Oh, you can have mine.
Yeah, no problem.
Cold soup, yeah.
Lifelong soup maven, I believe is what you would call me.
Soup.
Right. Yes.
You know when you go to a brewery and you get try all 6 of our beers, a little sample of each. I would totally do a flight of soups from a restaurant.
Hell yeah,
Flight.
that's a great idea.
Yeah, just give me a flight of soups.
There used to be this chain of restaurants here that they had nothing but soup and endless breadsticks.
Ugh.
I can't remember what it was called, but it was tremendous.
It's called heaven, Tony.
Oh, you would have loved it.
I would have loved it. When I go to any number of the Lunds and Byerly or Whole Foods or Kowalski's, any of those nice grocery stores the first thing I do is go see what soups are on today, and I have left with more than I'll take 2 soups and go home and eat them both.
Hard to carry them home though. A little
that's-
treacherous. You don't want to spill.
You got to want it. You know what I mean? It's all about intent and desire, like most things in life. Can I tell you? I like soup, guys. I really like soup.
Steve Gorman likes soup.
I'm Steve, and I love soup.
If there's a National Soup Council or something, I'm your guy.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
The first time I ever was driving around in a car drinking beers with 2 buddies, senior year of high school, the first time I was actually doing that, we got pulled over by the sheriff of Christian County, Kentucky. We're in a car, we're in my friend's car, and we had little ponies, little 7-ounce Millers.
Oh, yeah.
We had and they come in 8-packs, not 6 or 12, 8-pack of ponies. And we had all bought these with someone's older brother's ID. And it's 3 of us. I'm in the back seat, 2 guys driving, and we're just sipping our little 7-ounce beers and feeling cool. And a car comes racing up behind us, and then it looked like he was going to rear end us, like with the lights on. And then it slowed down. And we're all like, we're aware of the headlights. And my buddy driving, Brooke, is like, oh, God almost ran into us. And I'm in the back seat, so I'm just like, yeah, man, back off. So I flip a bird, just like you do. Sure. And then, whew, then the blues hit, the blue lights. And I'm like, oh, my God, I just flipped off a cop. And we get out, and it's the sheriff of our county, who was a very famous man at the time. He was about 6 feet 7 inches tall. He was the first black sheriff in Kentucky state history, and he knew he was just a terrifying. His size alone was terrifying. And he leaned into the car, and we're all like, oh, my God, this guy's we're all going in, and they're going to find our bodies in Little River next year. He says, you boys aren't drinking, are you? And Brooke's like, yes, sir, we are. Because what are you going to do? There's empty bottles in the car.
Right.
And he looks at Brooke. He goes, well, who's your daddy? And he said, Brooke, he goes, insurance agent? And he goes, yes, sir. And he goes, I know who he is. And he looks at Todd. He goes, who's your daddy? And he says, Richard Chouse. And he goes, truck driver? He goes, yeah. He goes, I know who he is. And this is after my dad had cut town, but he'd been in town for a while. And he said, who's your dad? And I said, Don Gorman. He goes, what's he do? And I said, I don't know. He's gone. And he goes, He goes, well, I ain't going to call him then. And he looks at the two other guys. He goes, you want me to call your dad who's at work tomorrow? And they're both like, no. And he goes, all right, well, then drive home right now. He just let us go. There were just open beer bottles in the car. And he just said, just drive home right now.
Yeah.
It was like, man, that is 1983 or 1,000 years ago, culturally speaking.
We get that too, and the copper would know us all by our first names.
Man, crazy. And by the way, that sheriff went to prison. Federal heroin trafficking charges.
Oh,
because 41 is a highway that goes from Miami to Milwaukee, and it goes right through my hometown. And there was a whole lot of people running a whole lot of drugs on Highway 41. A lot of rambling men going on Highway 41, like the Elmer Brothers song says, and he was letting them go. He was on the payroll.
Well, see, I mean, he thought to you guys, well, here's some young kids. They're drinking the beer now. That's a gateway. Before you know it, they'll be on the heroin.
That's exactly right.
You know, we can't just so they could be potential customers. We're going to go ahead and cut them loose.
First tour I ever did with the Black Crowes, my buddy Kenny, we're still very good friends. Great guy. He was our tour manager. We needed one at the last minute. He was like 25, 24, first job out of college. He's like in sales, like plastic sales for restaurants or something. I don't even know. He just had some real stiff job. And I said, man, we need a tour manager. And he's the last guy in the world I would have ever thought. He goes, I'll do it. I hate my job. What do I have to do? And I'm like, drive the van and collect $250 every night. We had our first tour opening in clubs nationwide, $250 a night, flat fee. That's what it was. And so he's like, I'll do it. And I'm like, I told the band, I'm like, hey, Kenny will do it. And we're like, great. There's someone who wants to go on tour for literally no money. But it was an adventure. I mean, why wouldn't you do it? So we were having a good time. But we found out a couple things about him. One is not a great driver. Not really a great driver at all. Smashed up our van in Washington, D.C. We had to get a rental van to finish the tour. But before he crashed, we had two incidents with police officers, one in our own van and one in the rental van. The first one was we were driving we had already gone into Toronto. We had one show in Canada, first time ever crossing a border up into Canada with the band. And when you tour, when we're on this tour, we have one show, a one-off in Canada. When we got to the border, there was a few things we had going on. Our merchandise guy, our T-shirt guy said, look, I'm not going to come to Canada. It's too much paperwork. It's a pain in the ass to bring in merch for a tiny tour. So he gave everyone in the band 5 shirts. He said, put these in your luggage. And then we were opening for a band called Junkyard. He goes, they'll sell our shirts. Just you guys aren't going to sell more than 25 shirts. Just take these. I don't have to bring the truck. I don't have to bring all the T-shirts. It's way easier. And we're like, cool. So at the border going into Canada, they decided to search our van. And Kenny right away tenses up. He's like nervous. And I'm like, Kenny, just let me do the talking. Because I'm looking at these border guys and they're like, they're kids. They're in their 20s. They look just like us. They don't care. They're just doing their job. And so I take the border guy over to the van, and he goes, "Okay, let's open up these. We don't even have suitcases. Everyone has like duffel bags." He goes, "Let's see what you got in here." I'm like, "It's just everyone's clothes. Like we're on tour. We say, rock band, Black Crowes, whole thing." And I unzip mine, and at the very top of my bag are 5 clearly never before worn or washed Black Crowes T-shirts. And he goes, huh. And then he opens the bag next to mine. 5 never washed, never worn. He goes, you guys aren't taking these shirts up to Canada to sell them, are you? And I go, and Kenny, I hear Kenny go, and I go, and I said, no, we wear these. We don't have time. When are we doing laundry? We just wear, we only have a few shirts. We just all have our own stuff to wear. Okay. And the guy looks right at me and goes, oh, okay. And I hear Kenny go, and I look at Kenny and I'm like, shut your mouth, dude. It's fine. And then I went as far as to say, do you want one? And the guy looked, he goes, what? I go, well, we got tons of them. I mean, you said you've heard of the band. And the guy goes, well, I'm not supposed to. I can't take a shirt from you. I said, it's just if you're a fan. And, I mean, by the time it was over, the guy was like, hey, go with God. I'll be good. We get in the van. I'm like, Kenny, just chill, man. Be cool. He's like, I've just never been in any trouble with the law. I don't know, it's a border first. And I'm like, okay, I got it, dude. Let it go. So a day later, right? So we get to Toronto, police show, fine. A day later, we're back and we're crossing the Peace Bridge into Buffalo. And I'm driving the van because I said, Kenny, let me handle. I recognized I should probably be the guy handing over passports and explaining what we're doing. And so, again, when you're on a tour, you have a carnet and you have to explain where your gear is. And our gear's on the other band's truck, and it can be confusing. So we pull up to the U.S. checkpoint after the Peace Bridge. Guy puts the window down. He goes, where are you headed? I said, we're on our way into Buffalo. And he looks in the van, sees this, and he goes, what are you guys, a band or something? I said, yeah, we're playing at the so-and-so tonight. We're opening for Junkyard. And he goes, what's the band called? Black Crowes? He goes, yeah, I think I've heard of you. I said, yeah, we're on MTV now. It's just starting off, And he goes, so what, did you have a gig in Canada last night? And I said, no. I said, no, we went up the QEW like 10 miles, that go-kart track right there, because we had stopped at this amazing go-kart track.
You're a quick thinker.
And I go, the guy at the club in Buffalo said those are the best go-karts, and they were awesome. And the guy looks at me and goes, oh, yeah, they're the best. Canadian go-karts are so much faster. He goes, we go up there all the time. I go, man, it was unreal. And he goes, oh, so you're playing tonight in Buffalo? I said, yeah, we're out with this band Junkyard. And I go, man, I'll put you on the list if you want. Guy goes, no, that's cool. But, yeah, all right, cool. Well, hey, have a great day. Mm-hmm. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't rolled up the window yet, and Kenny in the passenger seat goes, we did have a show in Canada last night?
Oh, he did not.
Kenny!
Yeah, he did. He full on did. And the guy looks and goes, what? And Kenny goes, I can't lie. We played in Canada last night.
He doesn't even want to hear that. I mean, the officer doesn't even want to hear that.
He didn't. He literally, the officer looked at me, not like, I can't believe you lied to me, but like, why haven't you put a bib in this guy's mouth?
Yeah.
Why haven't you? And I looked at him. I go, yeah, man, I was just kidding about the go-karts. We played in Toronto last night. He goes, yeah, okay, pull over. And all of a sudden they're searching the van. The guy's yelling at me about it. And we were out of our minds, and he's so apologetic. It never happened again. So sorry. 3 weeks later, after our first ever show in Minneapolis, we play First Avenue, open for Junkyard, and then we have a late midnight bowling party. I think it was at Elsie's, if memory serves.
Great.
Amazing night in town with our merchandise company, based in Minneapolis at the time. Nice man. We have a great night. The next gig is in Denver. That's a hike from Minneapolis.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
We're in the van. We're driving. We stay overnight. We have a couple days off. The next day we leave. By the time we're midway through Nebraska, it's already dark again. And we're driving, and everybody, not the drivers, but everybody in the back of the van, everyone's drinking beer, blah, blah, blah. We're like, hey, we got to take a leak, pull over. We're nowhere near a truck stop. Our T-shirt guy's driving the van. He just pulls over on the side of the road in the middle of literally nowhere. And we all pile out of the van, and we all take a leak, and we all get relieved. And then it's my turn to start driving. I hop in the driver's seat, and before we can pull away, a state trooper has pulled up behind us, hits the blues. I'm like, holy crap, where'd that guy come from? And he walks up to the front of the van. He's like, how's it going? I said, good. Show him my license. What are you guys doing? I said, we're a band. We're on our way to Denver. Got a gig, And he's got the flashlight and everybody. And this state trooper goes, now, you boys weren't just urinated on the side of my beautiful highway, were you? And I said, no, of course not. We were just we were stretching a driver's shift. I'm just now starting my shift. He was driving before. Everybody got out and had a nice stretch. We would never defile your beautiful highway. And he laughs. He goes, okay, just making sure. And literally from the passenger seat, I did, sir. I urinated on the side of the van. He did it again.
No shotgun privileges for Kenny.
Oh, no.
Kenny's in the back.
And the same thing, the cop looks at me like, are you serious with this guy? And everybody goes, Kenny! Just yells. And he's just so mad at himself. But it was literally like he could not come clean, which is a wonderful thing. He's the most honest guy in the world. I mean, we're still good friends. I trust him with my life, but I would never trust him in a traffic stop again.
What a character.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
Listen, no matter what happens today, it's going to be okay because there's no point in today where I'm going to have to go run a mile and be graded for that and then change right back into my clothes and go back to work. Remember high school? Remember middle school? You'd be having a perfectly fine day, and then all of a sudden the bell would ring and be like, oh, crap, I got to go run a mile now. And then you'd go change your clothes. You'd go run 4 laps on the track. Coach would yell at you, and then you'd go back, put on your clothes, and go back into class.
In the middle of the day.
In the middle of the day. It's totally insane. So, you know what? If nothing else, that's not going to happen today. So, thank goodness. We're going to be here. We're going to do our job. No one is expecting us to run even a quarter of a mile.
I'm thinking of Tim, my buddy. He always does the noon workout thing. He does that. But he showers. He goes to the club.
Whole different story.
The whole thing, man.
Whole different story.
I love it. I love being sweaty during the workday.
The kids who would shower at school, they were just weird. You're like, what are you doing? A second shot? What? Wait a minute. But, that's all back in the day. That goes back to the days when, you'd be sitting at home and the phone would ring and everybody would look at each other like, who's going to get that? And there was an age where you'd race to the phone because you wanted to be the kid to answer it. And then you hit that point where you're like, no, I'm not getting involved in the phone. But there's that moment, there's a couple years there where there's nothing but, maybe it's just me being the youngest of a small family. Phone would ring. I would charge. Oh, please. And I would have to say, hello, Gorman's. That's how I'd have to answer the phone.
That's what you said.
Hello, Gorman's. And my dad, who at some point in his middle age stopped saying the word, stopped pronouncing H's. He started saying, yellow. And yellow.
Love that.
And he would say things like, son, there's a huge discrepancy between, and I'm like, huge.
It's such an East Coast
Jersey.
thing.
It was weird. He just picked it up one day, and we're all like, what happened to his H's? But the landlines, it's a big part of our lives growing up. When you're a kid, you call your friend, his parent answers, and then gives you the third degree. Oh, hello, Stephen. How's school going? Oh, hi, Mr. Lawson. What's going on? Yeah, nothing. We lost that game at Trigg County, but I think we're going to be pretty good this year. And you're just begging, please hand the phone to your son. Stop making me talk to you. The landline, it connected us. It kept us all connected in a way. That you just can't
want to be connected again.
Exactly. You just can't replicate it. And now, like our good friend, the saber-toothed tiger, another obsession of mine as a child, like the woolly mammoth, the landlines, this is no longer just anecdotal and, hey, no one has those anymore. No, literally, the landlines are going away. By 2030, it is suggested that 5% of current landlines will still exist. There are still over 100 million landlines in this country, and 6 years from now, 5% of those will still be in operation. That's it. In the state of California, AT&T has applied for a waiver to stop servicing traditional landlines. I mean, it's done. With good reason, but it's also kind of like, oh, man, really? Huh. I had a landline at our house in Tennessee until a few years ago because it was still connected to the house alarm system. And my brother came into my house over a decade ago. Why do you still have a landline? I'm like, what do you mean? Well, that's just, no, I'm not willing to. Next thing you're going to tell me I'm not going to need cable.
Just in case.
Yeah.
No, cable's on the way out, too.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm done with it.
It's, maybe they'll quit pushing it on us now. I hate these. We have a landline, but we don't have a landline. I mean, in other words, we don't have a phone hooked up to it, but it's $25 cheaper a month if you bundle your landline in. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, some of these service providers are really just trying to keep the landline alive. Well, you got to have a landline. I don't want the landline. Well, then you're going to pay $25 more. If I want less, I have to pay more. Okay, gotcha. Or we'll take the landline. So we've got a phone number out there that's just floating around.
Right. I had it. We had the bundle, and we got rid of a few things. Everything was all in one. And I actually, when a guy came in, I said to him, I go, man, do they just? I guess these phones they make now just suck because we had this is over a decade ago the last time we bought new phones, but you're at Costco and it's like here's your base and then here's 3 little satellite phones, cordless of course, and you put them all over the house. And I mentioned to the guy, I said, man, these phones are just blowing. He goes, No, it's not the phones. It's our line. I go, really? He goes, yeah, the quality's nowhere near like it used to. He goes, the phones aren't as good as they used to be, but then, trust me, we're not maintaining the line. I mean, if there's a problem, if your landline sounds kind of, cloudy, don't just blame your phone. I was like, wow. Coming clean with it. So that's it. You got till 2030 to enjoy that bad boy if you still have one. Tony, what's on your mind?
I was just thinking, I was remembering how there was that awkward moment when you'd call your friend and then the parents would pass on the phone
Sure.
to whoever you were calling, but you had to wait till they hung up. It was like, Mom, I got
Oh,
it.
the extension,
You had to
sure.
wait for the click
Yeah.
before you could have the conversation.
Oh, yeah. I can remember, and again, as the youngest with older siblings, like, teenagers, when I was a little kid, the time I spent learning how to pick up the extension, still holding the thing down, but then slowly lift it so I could eavesdrop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
my mom was a pro at that.
And then I would, and this would be me, and I'd totally get onto the call, and I'd hear them talking, and then less than 30 seconds before I would just go, and then hang up the phone, Steven. Like, oh, everybody in my not just my parents, everybody went straight to Steven when they were mad at me.
Yeah.
That's how that would go.
Well, I mean, since we're going back to the dawn of time, we're country kids. We had the party line. You guys ever have the party line?
Knew about it, never had it.
Everyone was on it, so I used to be able to pick up the phone and listen to Marilyn talking to, whomever was.
Oh,
Heidi,
sure.
the neighbors out there just going. Hello? Did somebody pick up? Is there someone else on this line?
Yeah, wow, that's wild.
Hang
That's
up the phone. Yeah, the party line.
Yeah, I remember my mom explaining that to me, and in my mind, that just went right to sepia toned, or if not full on, just black and white when I would picture that situation. Dude in Brazil named Magno Sergio Gomez. He is no longer with us. He died after ingesting pufferfish, the poisonous fish. It was gifted to him. He had never cleaned or prepared pufferfish on his own. You always hear about pufferfish or also known as blowfish. You hear about this in Japan. Mm-hmm. There's certain sushi that's cut from blowfish. Any way you prepare this fish, you have to know exactly what you're doing because it's so toxic to humans. Well, this fella got a big chunk of pufferfish apparently right before the holidays, and he gutted the fish with a friend, removed its liver, boiled it, ate it with some lemon juice, and within an hour, he was a mess. Lips started going numb, started feeling dizzy, went to the hospital, was there for like a month, literally, and then finally expired.
Couldn't they have sent him a Whitman sampler or beef and cheese log?
You'd think that would be the thing, a salted caramel log from Stuckey's, anything.
That's why I wonder if this came from an ex or something like that. Did he know it was a puffer fish? I knew a young man going through the whole sushi school thing in Minneapolis, and I brought that up. I was like, yeah, and he goes, no, we don't do puffer fish. That doesn't come. He goes, but you have to be a sushi chef making about six figures or more to even go near that stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can't DIY it on YouTube. And what do I got to cut here? Just a little off the
Tetrodotoxin. That's what it's called, what the pufferfish has. And an extremely potent poison that originates in the liver and gonads of pufferfish. Check this out. It's used by the blowfish to deter predators 1,000 times deadlier than cyanide.
Wow.
With no known antidote. Yeah. So when you ingest in large quantities, the transmission of signals from nerves to muscles becomes screwed up, and then you get paralyzed. In Japan, it's used. There is if you have just a trace amount, you get a little bit of a buzz from it. And that's why people enjoy it.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, but by trace amount, I mean literally like the tiniest little amount, and then you get a little tingling like, yeah. Oof, boy.
Call me crazy. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the bluefin toro. Give me something fatty off the belly, and then make it a bottle of sake. That'll get the job done.
Yeah.
Keep your blowfish. I don't know that. Of course, I haven't had the buzz, but I was wondering. I thought, why even take the chance? But that's why.
I don't know. Maybe you're on a date and you want to do something dangerous. Really spice up the mood.
Would you do?
Then have
that?
sex in public.
I don't know. I like trying weird things, and I'm ready to die.
What? Where did this just go?
I already met Robbie
It's been
Krieger.
a long month, hasn't it?
No, I'm just
I'm ready to die. Give me the puffer
No, I'm just saying
gonads.
some of that stuff, is intriguing, like to do something dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, I can take you bungee jumping if you'd like.
Shoplift.
Oh, no, that's where I draw my limit.
Oh, my
No
God.
bungee jumping. Have you bungee jumped?
No.
All right. Well, bungee jumping, we'll put some puffer gonads on a little plate, and then you go down there, and it's called tagging, and you just You'll like that.
Put it on a Ritz.
Candace, if you're looking for thrills, check this out, okay? There's a 60-year-old woman in New Hampshire. Maybe you should hang out with her a little bit more. She was thrown into a garbage truck. And it was compacted. You know how every few blocks they have that thing that just smushes it all down? She went through 4 different compacting cycles. She fell into a dumpster while taking out her trash. Amazingly enough, outside of her apartment, she's trying to throw out the trash, falls into the dumpster. She got stuck in there. And then the garbage truck comes. They don't look in the dumpster. They just put those giant fork arms on it, lift the dumpster. Yeah. It goes up, it goes back, boom, dumped into the truck. It drives off, and then it just starts compacting as it does. It went 4 times through the crunch cycle before he saw the woman, the garbage man. There's an internal camera, I guess, for this very thing, just to make sure. And finally he noticed, I think there's a woman back there after 4 times being crushed.
She must have just gotten like a soft pocket of garbage. Yeah. This is the fire chief that responded, and I believe one of his coworkers.
It's alarming because you don't really think it's true. You don't think it really happens.
It came pick ours up over here, and he heard screaming and stuff like that. So we thought, something really bad was out there happening.
Yeah, definitely never, nothing but raccoons, maybe little critters in there. That'll spook you, but never a person in there.
I talked to the driver. He seemed to be okay. It's not the first time this has happened to him. That was definitely one for the books.
Not the first. What? You heard that?
I've seen it all.
I can't imagine. Although I did one time when I was a kid, walking home from school, probably first or second grade, with my brother Doug, and we passed a house. We live in a neighborhood where houses were still under construction a lot, and we called them house being built, like all one word. Oh, you don't go near the house being built. Like my dad's whole thing was, you stay. That's a construction zone, and we just wanted to go in there and climb the stairs and see the, it's just the shell of a little house that's been framed up, and that's a natural place for a curious kid to go. But we were on strict don't go near house being built orders, but we defied those on a regular basis. And we're walking home from school, and we see a site, and there's a bulldozer, like a front loader bulldozer there, no one nearby. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to play on the bulldozer. And my brother just keeps going home. He leaves me. It's just down the street from our house. I curled up in the bucket, the digger, scooper on the front of the bulldozer. What do you call that thing? The basket?
It's just the bucket.
The bucket.
Yeah.
I curled up in there and took a nap. Just fell dead asleep.
Uh-oh.
And I woke up when the bulldozer was turned on. True story. And the guy knew I was in there because I jumped up and he was laughing. He's just a construction worker. Saw a kid curled up like a little Bambi deer. I was just sitting there, I'm sitting in there probably thinking about like G.I. Joe stuff. And then all of a sudden I'm like, and that thing started shaking, and he turned that engine on, and I jumped up and jumped out. And in my mind, I was like, oh, my God, I almost died, but the guy was laughing at me. He totally did that just to freak me out.
Sure. I love the fact that your brother just trucked it on home. I want to hear Mom later on when she finds out that if something had happened. So you left Steve at a construction site, house being built.
Just in the neighborhood.
Yeah, just down the road. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, like I said, it was all okay. There were plenty of other moments along the way where, someone turned their back and I'd see that's a good idea. Next thing you know, I've got something goes horribly awry. For the most part, was looked after by my brothers, but they, some things slipped through the cracks.
Sure,
you must have been so content and had peace to be joyful enough to curl up and take a nappy.
I was always
sleeping on at home. The construction bucket.
I was a happy napper always. Yeah. To this day, I still am.
Yeah.
There's a nap in my immediate future right now. Just talking about it, I'm starting to feel a little bit like I could curl up in a bulldozer basket right now. I'd be more than happy to. As a matter of fact, now that I think about it, now that I put a little bit more thought into that.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
Okay, so how middle-aged are we? I got a quiz, and we're going to all answer. I'm going to keep score. Ready? We're going to give a point for every positive answer. And we're going to start with Candace, the youngest middle-aged person I've ever known in my life.
Yes.
Number 1, you can't sleep past 9 a.m. Be honest,
yes.
Candace. Wait, that's true?
Usually, unless I don't know,
Generally
unless
speaking.
I'm up really late.
An
That doesn't-
all-nighter?
Yeah.
Oh, if you're still pulling all-nighters, you're not middle-aged,
Okay.
by the way.
I guess
But yeah,
I can't say that, but I usually wake up around 8 automatically on the weekends.
Oh, well, then I'm going to give you a point. Zepp, can you sleep past 9? We all know the answer is no.
No, I can't do that. I've never been very good at sleeping past 9, even when I went to bed at 5 a.m. you know?
Right. Tony, come on.
No, I don't.
Not
Not
a
a large
chance.
sleeper. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Okay. See, we're okay.
Early
How about this?
morning guy.
You can't start a movie past 9 p.m. Now,
You mean 7?
well, we can start a movie, but this is basically saying you won't finish it. So you can't start a movie past 9. For me, 100% accurate.
Give me a point.
Yeah, I'll fall asleep for sure.
Tony.
No, I can. On weekends, I stay up way too late, and I mess up my schedule every week.
Attaboy.
Yes, sir.
I knew one of us.
Keep us young,
Good fight.
Tony.
Yeah.
No, Forever Young Lee, they call him. How about this? You call your children for tech support. Candace, you can use your little brother on this one if you need. Yes.
Nope, I'm savvy.
You're savvy. Tony?
No,
Tech
August and Hudson come to the rescue all the time.
Yeah, there you go.
They
Zep?
need help.
No, you know what? The galleys, not too much. No, they'll get me on stuff like, Dad, that's not how you use Snapchat. But for the techie stuff, I still get calls from them on how to set up their phone.
Nice.
They
Strong.
get a new phone, so I'm not taking a point on that one.
Okay, how about this? You have, at one point in your life, fixed a typo with whiteout or liquid paper.
Yes.
You have, Candace?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like computers didn't come around until 2nd grade, 3rd grade.
Wait, so you were using liquid
You
paper in
fraud.
1st grade?
Maybe they were later. Now I don't remember. When
She
did
was just
computers come
huffing
out?
it.
All right,
She's
wait.
just huffing. When did computers come out? I bought my first desktop computer in 1996.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I was 6.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm giving you the point anyway. By the way, the 3 of you are all sitting on 3. I'm already at 4. I've hit every one of these.
All right.
You have called a 30-year-old kid. Oh, look at that kid over there. This kid's good. This
week.
100%.
There is no difference between 20s and teens for me anymore. I don't know. Either you're in your 20s or your teens, which really seems to. I'm 25. I'm like, I don't know. You could be 15. I don't know.
That's true. Tony, can you imagine yourself if you're referencing somebody? Oh, look at that kid over there. I mean, a 30-year-old.
I use that term of endearment all
Yeah.
the time. Anyway,
There you go.
I call everybody kid.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to give it. How about
Yeah.
this? You swap ailment stories with your friends.
Oh
I
yeah.
think we have already
course.
this morning.
Yeah, that's the basis of this show,
Ointment.
is it not? I'm giving everybody a point on that one. You're on Facebook, but not Grindr.
Oh, the coffee app. Yeah. I
What?
like that one. Yeah, it's where you get your coffee beans, grinder,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Gross guy. I know what grinder is. You guys hit me to it because of that morning I went grinder. It's not even for ladies, and there's no e in it. It's not grind her. It's Grindr. I am on Facebook, but I am not on Grinder yet.
I'm with you there, Tony. I'm going to assume you're also in Nick's.
Yeah.
Candace.
Yeah, nope.
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 Yeah. Nope. How about this? You write appointments on a paper calendar.
I've never done that.
By the way, less than 12 hours ago.
Really?
We have a giant calendar. You fill in the numbers each
Oh,
day.
sure.
Rosemary and I just with a big calendar in front of us, writing all of it in for the next couple months because there's back and forth. There's the kids are doing this. I got this. I got a gig here, and a paper calendar still is the thing. I can put it on my phone. I can put it on my laptop. It means nothing. If it's on a paper calendar, it's real, and I can make plans. So I am 100% old as hell.
Not taking a point on that one. Yeah, I've not been.
Yeah, no.
I got on board with the digital calendar, but the old paper calendars, if I
love
did
it.
write on them, then I forgot to refer to them. So
you get a paper calendar. It's like every month looks the same, and then you have to find out where the first is. You write in all the numbers, and so like March 1st is a Friday. And, so you're like, 1, 2, and then you go through. I've been filling one of those out and started on the wrong day. And it's like literally like, no. I get so angry and have to waste a page of the calendar. And Rosemary's like, just cross that one out. I'm like, no. It has to look perfect.
so easy to edit on my phone.
I know. But there's so much crap on it's like voicemail. I never even listen. If you leave me a message, I'm sorry.
I have to get my mom a Maltese calendar every year for Christmas since I was a kid.
Does she really want that, or you just got used to doing that?
She demanded.
Maltese
No, she demanded it because she likes to see all the different kinds of Maltese.
Okay. That's exciting, and it's great for both of you. You don't have to think about it. She knows what she's getting. It's one less wrinkle in the day. How about this one? You're not quite sure how you got that bruise.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. That's it. I mean, man.
Yeah.
My wife will probably not be happy I'm sharing this story. But last week, the week before last, I was here. She was in Nashville, and Nashville got a big snowstorm, 8 inches, which in Nashville is that's like getting 40 inches up here. I mean, it shut the city down. And she walked out the back door of the house and went down the back steps and went right over, slipped on the ice and went down hard. And she texted me, and what she wrote was, "If you want to see me fall, pull up the Ring camera." And so,
God.
of course, I did. And I really wish I hadn't, because it was horrifying to watch my wife fall like that. And she's fine, but on her arm, on the inside of her elbow, just a crazy bruise. And she actually said, she goes, "Well, this bruise is fine because at least I know where it came from." Yeah, that's the funny thing. You get to a place in life when you're like, I have scratches on my face a lot. And what we finally determined, check this out. I bit my nails my whole life. I stopped biting my nails during COVID. All the hand washing.
Yeah.
Remember early days of the pandemic, it was like everywhere you looked, it was like 20 full seconds of scrubbing and do not touch your face. It was like, get your hands away from your face. And for the first time in my life, I did that, and I no longer bite my nails, which is like I'm new to the whole concept of having fingernails you can use. It's great. But like if I have an itch, I go to scratch. I still scratch as if I don't have a nail, and I have like marks on my face. Kind of at least once a month, she'll go, "Hey, you have a scratch on your face." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I did that," and I've done it in my sleep. And I've done it in my sleep. I've I wake up and I have like a line right down my face, and I'm like
self-maul.
Yeah, crazy self-harm with fingernails. Who knew?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the next one. For the record, I am sitting at 9 for 9. Candace, you're at 6, and the other guys are at 7 each. So we're all in the ball game. Here's one. Okay, you gain weight just by being near food. Funny, but is it really true? I don't think so. I don't know. I'm gonna pass on that one.
I gain weight from eating the food I'm near all the time, but that's always been a thing. But yeah, it's there was a time when I used to brag. I'd be like, I could eat 25 Big Macs a day. I wouldn't gain a pound. I'm lean and I'm mean and I'm not too far, but that kind of thing. But now, I can eat salads, 7 days a week, and it's got the spare tire. I'm rocking it, baby.
Oh yeah. Don't get me started. Just a boiler I'm working on at all times.
But I don't care anymore.
Yeah, when there's a time in your life when you look in the mirror and go, I'm finally the shape of a keg. Okay. Yeah. I guess that was self-determination in process.
I'm cool with that.
How about this one? You go into the bank to make a deposit.
No.
Nope.
I still go to the drive-thru occasionally. I mean, mostly if I have an actual paper check, which is not very often, but I just do it on the phone. But I will still go through the drive-thru. But go into a bank, I have when I didn't have a deposit slip, and I had to go in there and I had the account number, I had to fill out, the actual you have to fill in the account information on the blank deposit slip, but it's still been a few years. I'm trying to think. Yeah. Okay, never mind. Screw it.
Yeah, the last time I went into a bank was to get a roll of quarters because we were on vacation, and I will often, if it's longer than a few days, I just don't pack a lot. So at some point I want to do a little laundry there in the hotel, and it was pay. I'm like, what kind of cheap-ass hotel? So I go down to the desk. Can I get some change? We don't have a change. You don't have change? You have a change machine? No. She said, but there's a bank over there. So, I had to go over to the bank and get a roll of quarters.
Yeah, there's just no need.
A couple of years ago, no.
You have used, and not like for shtick, but you literally had at one time in your life a rotary phone. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Everybody had that. Candace, you did?
Yeah.
Still rotary phone for you?
Rotary?
Does that mean
you sure?
a house phone?
A house phone but it's not buttons to punch.
Google it.
You don't punch the buttons. You literally roll this rotary thing that goes.
No, I'm out.
Yeah. I was not thinking you were going to be on that one.
They're so cute, though. I want one. Oh my God, there's a pink one. phone.
Yeah, rotary phone.
Yeah.
And then finally, you can't find your glasses, the ones that are sitting on top of your head. I've done that.
I hang them on my T-shirt all the time, and we'll be looking for them and get the look down. Oh, crap. That's embarrassing.
All right, Tony, ever been looking for the glasses that are on your head?
Yeah, the same thing. I like hook them on my shirt
Yeah.
in front.
Yep.
And
Yep.
forget.
Okay. I remember, Candace, you're out on that one.
I'm out.
I remember very clearly my buddy Dan Baird, who was the singer in the Georgia Satellites. Keep your hands to yourself, guy. Gap Tooth Yokel, Dan Baird, one of my favorite people. He would not be upset knowing I called him that. I didn't know him back in the days of the Satellites. I actually met him years ago at a dog park. We had the same kind of dog. I was like, hey, you're Dan, you're Steve. Hey, what's up? And we started becoming buddies. And then we've played a bunch of gigs together since. But I remember he said to me once, he said, yeah, that, there's those moments in life you look back on. And he goes, I knew the game was over when I went to Costco and I bought an entire case of reading glasses. He goes, I bought a dozen at once just because I have one in every room of the house.
Put them all over the house.
And I was like, yeah, that I see it. And I remember thinking like, all right, that's going to be the line in the sand for me. And it was just one of those things we laughed about. And years later, this is now like only 3 years or 4 years ago, I was at Costco and I saw that thing and it's like 12 pairs of readers. And I was like, don't do it. No, you're admitting you're old as hell. I just couldn't do it. And it makes perfect sense because I have to look for my readers all the time. And I couldn't commit to getting a dozen at a time.
You don't want to buy them in bulk.
I totally went. Amazon, you get 20 for like $1.
Yeah.
Not
It's
quite,
ridiculous.
But
Yeah.
and then I just scatter them everywhere. And
All right, well, I hit 11 on that poll, so I led the charge. Tony and Zepp with 9. Candace, just a child at 6. Congratulations.
Thank God. I was worried about myself.
I'm thinking, thank God, middle-aged.
Yeah.
I'm striving for middle age. I mean, this means I'm going to live to 116, I guess.
I've thought that too. I'm like, wow, if I'm middle-aged, I think I'm more like 2/3 aged. Realistically, I hope I'm 2/3 age. Jeez, I might be 3/4 age. That'd be terrible.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I saw the other day. I had someone texted me, or I got an auto reply, and in the midst of an auto reply, there was an acronym that I literally had to Google. And so I want to know if anybody knows this. Candace, you're young and you've got your thumb on the pulse. If somebody says AFK, do you have any idea what that means?
AFK.
AFK.
Let's quiz Candace.
I don't.
AFK stands for away from keyboard.
I was really hoping for ass fart kills or something.
Yeah, it's used to indicate someone is temporarily stepping away from their computer or device.
That doesn't make any sense.
Away from keyboard.
No one has keyboards anymore. No one chats with keyboards. It's not
You have a keyboard on your phone.
It's not a keyboard.
What do you call it?
A phone. I would say away from my phone.
What do you call the keypad?
A keypad.
It's a keypad, not a board.
There's your answer.
It's not a pad. It's not a board. It's a pad.
I mean,
Kids.
I'm a
Hand
90s
me the yoga
kid.
board.
So we used to have this away status all the time when we had AIM and stuff. But this is too old school for me.
When you had what? AIM?
AIM, yeah, AOL, Instant Messenger.
Oh, right.
And I would always put like a really depressing lyric as my away status, like from Green Day or something.
Right.
American Idiot.
AIM. I forgot all about AIM.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
American Indian movement when I was growing up, they were blasting it out with the feds out there in South Dakota, yeah.
That's exactly right.
Russell
what
Means
about this one, Candace? Do you know what IDEK means?
IDEK. I don't even know.
That's
You walked through it. Good.
Bingo. That's exactly right. I don't even know.
I don't even know right now.
Why would you put the even in there if you didn't say it like this? I don't even know. PAP, not followed by the word smear. But PAP. Party at Pam's.
Yeah, party at Pam's.
No, it is post a picture. Who?
Dumb.
Never heard. Yeah, that's not.
Why would you send? Oh, I see. Send me a picture. Someone's like,
post a picture.
I've got this wart on my. Yeah, post a picture.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
How about this? OOTD.
Oh, outfit of the day.
Wow. Yeah, never seen that one. OOTD. If I saw it, I'd just think, ooh, touchdown.
Ooh, tacos.
Yeah, exactly. It's Taco Tuesday.
Despite what I look like when I come into work, I usually have a nice outfit of the day after
Do you really?
work.
In mind.
Yeah. So if you have, so what you're telling us, Candace, is if you the days that you do show up looking like $1 million, you're just continuing from the night before.
Yeah, sure.
It was yesterday's outfit of the day.
holdover,
Yesterday's outfit of the day is this morning's. Why you look good, Candace? How about this? LOFPD. LOFPD.
Laugh.
Laugh.
Lots of.
Don't say it.
Lots.
Those F's are so tempting.
I know FP. You know where I'm going with that, but I'm not going to say it.
Laugh out. No.
No, sorry. Look out for prairie dogs.
What?
Can't believe you
That's
didn't know
actually
that.
what I was going to say. We can say prairie dogs on the air. We just can't talk about prairie dogging.
No, God, no. Those bastards are insatiable.
Did very well.
That's pretty good. The rest of them, I think, are pretty. Everybody knows FOMO, fear of missing out, GOAT, greatest of all time. All these. How about this? TBR. Never heard that one.
TBR.
Yeah. To be.
Right.
To be rude. It says. What? That's weird. Why would you text someone something and then? I guess that's when you say like, no, actually, I think that sweater looks horrible on you. TBR. It's like, to be honest, I get, but TBR is a little weird. Huh. If you're planning to summit Everest, if that's something if that's on your bucket list, I got to get to the top of Mount Everest. First of all, you got problems. Okay, let's just establish that right now. The idea that you want to do that to yourself, I'll never understand it. My wife has a fear of heights, by which I mean a single-story building. Get her on the roof, and she'll lay down into a fetal position and go into a bit of a shock. I've seen that literally happen. My wife one time took skis off and walked down an entire ski slope because she started to, just couldn't handle it. When someone says they're afraid of heights, believe them. I made that mistake. Took me a while to finally accept that's what that is. But yet, she'll watch anything you ever see about Mount Everest. She's obsessed with documentaries, series, anything about climbing Everest. She's so in, and I guess it's because she knows I mean, I don't really understand it. There's something about I can't stand heights, and she watches it in pure terror, abject horror, but she can't turn away. It's her thing. I've never really thought about it either way. It's nothing I would ever consider doing. I know it's not possible. Seeing a thing about Mount Everest, it's like watching someone play, a harp. I'm never going to do that. It's okay. Sure, I'm glad you can do that.
Well, if you find yourself sitting in front of one, maybe you take a poke at it.
Exactly. I mean, I like to walk. I like to hike. I don't want to even think about that. Right. But now I have an entirely new reason to never consider doing Mount Everest. If I wake up one day and that's my new plan, I'm going to do it. Then I have a new reason to talk myself out of it, and it's this: Mount Everest apparently is, and this is a quote, blanketed in human waste.
Oh,
ish.
I know about dead bodies.
Never occurred to me that all those guys going up, all those guys and gals going up and down, they still got to poop. Right. Where do you do it? Where do you go? What do you do? Apparently, you just pull over and drop it in the ditch. Or in this case, you just walk off that trail a couple feet because every step matters. And you just let it fly wherever you can. Oh. And then you zip up and continue to the summit.
Yikes.
And so now there's a new rule. If you go up, you gotta bring down. You gotta weigh the same when you come back down. So you gotta bring bags, and you gotta bag your own and bring it down off the hill.
Wow.
Oh, like the dog walkers. The dog
exactly. Oh. It is. It's the new rule. I mean, I've never really thought about it because everyone's clearly bundled up in layer after layer of clothing. And you've got to withstand like Everest, not like figurative, literal Everest winds and temperatures. And now, that's the new rule. Just the thought of that, just because it never melts up there, it's never warm enough. So it's all just this perfectly pristine Snickers bars all the way up and down the mountain.
That's going to ruin the iconic photograph you get to take when you finally reach the summit and you make it to the top. And you're holding up the flag, and you have the poop bag in your hand.
I hope someone does that sooner
Takes
than
away
later.
the magic.
Yeah, next year on the in the spring when people are going, I really would love to see that.
Well, there's no such thing as the poop fairy.
That's very true.
Take care of it yourself.
Did you hear about Mike? He summited with 3 bags. Yeah, he had quite a day that day.
Man.
Totally crazy. By the way, it's also making people sick. When the snow does melt, it does melt a little bit. Then the water, you get some water flow because it's not just the summit, it's all the way from base camp up. And so some of that does melt in the summer months. It gets in the water. Particles are blown around in the air where people are breathing. I mean, it's so much that they're talking about air particles.
God, it's covered in corpses and feces.
Yeah, exactly. Not to mention the fact that there's also dead bodies. Wow. Yeah, that's something. I remember watching the first time one of those Everest shows popped up, and it was the guy from New Zealand who was the tour guide, and he would take people. And like Zepp said before the break, Everest used to be, a few people a year would try it, and they are deep, heavy-duty adventurers. This is what they do. I remember watching that show on Nat Geo or History Channel, whatever it was, that Everest summits. And there was a guy from L.A. who was a cab driver, and he had a bad knee. I don't know, man. I just really wanted to see if I could do it. And I'm like, okay, that's no different than saying the Yankees are going to put you in as DH in Game 7. I haven't swung a bat in 31 years, but let me see what happens.
Right.
Completely insane.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they have a death zone up there. It's become so accessible and affordable for the wealthier sector that I kind of feel like Everest has jumped the shark. I think we all remember the images a few years ago when they were just all packed up there. There was some guy that was having a problem up there in the death zone where you can't breathe and need the oxygen, and they had to evacuate him, but they couldn't get him down because it was so packed.
Too many
the
people.
line getting up there. Yeah, it was obscene to watch. And now it's getting just absurd.
Yeah, I forgot one thing. They're estimating 3 tons of human excrement on the path. 3 tons.
What are Sherpas for? Aren't they?
6,000 pounds.
Let the Sherpas pick it up. Aren't they really kind of like the pet owners and the climbers are the pets, the rich pets? They have to.
But in this case, the Sherpas are. Do it without a Sherpa. Good luck to you. I mean, those guys. Edmund Hillary, when he went up, what's the guy's name? Torgay, Ensign Torgay, the first Sherpa. Yeah. He got there first. I mean, Edmund Hillary gets the credit, but the Sherpa was a step in front. He was in front of him. If memory serves, I believe that's the story. Those guys do that without oxygen. I mean, they're just
Tenzing Norgay.
That's it, Tenzing Norgay. That's it. Yeah. Let's go. It's interesting too because I look at those Everest shows and I watch the people involved, and it's like every one of those summits is like the movie Speed, like this incredibly intense situation that you don't count on, and it just seems to go when you get down from it. And I look at people because you have men and women, and I always wonder like how many of those couples do they hook up when they get back down? They're back down and they did it together. You share such an intense experience. That's going to open up some pathways to some interesting conversations. You don't really need to, there's not a lot of flirting is my point. You're like, we just did that together. What are we talking about? Let's just get after it.
I wonder if anyone, human beings being what they are, has knocked off a piece up at the top of Everest. They're just up there. They're like, here we are. We did it. A lot of people now have done it. It's the, how many miles high? The 7 mile high club or whatever.
Kidding.
I mean, just tried to, I suppose maybe that's physically not
that's not going to
possible. No, are you sure? Because now I kind of want to try it.
I don't know.
I want to get up there and just whack off at the top of Everest.
People get it. People get to the top of Everest. They're up there for just like a couple of minutes. It's and more people die on the way down than on the way up.
That's right.
They get up there and they're, what could be what could be worse than doing it, but then on the way down, you expire. I guess for those folks, that's kind of like, that would actually be better. It's like, well, at least I made it, and it's like, yeah, great, we got a photo of you, I guess.
Right, that's the thing. You used to come down. I mean, Everest, you were one of the great explorers. You came down and you went on a talking tour, and people were in awe of you. Now your CEO boss goes, I climbed Everest. Yeah. Okay, great. It's just become, like I said, I think it's jumped the shark a little bit. Still an amazing feat of endurance and strength and will, but too many people are doing it. You see that in what I'm going to use in quotations here, the extreme sports. I like to find a good thrill. I like to get out and do those things. And you really had to, live a bit on the edge to do some of those things because we're all just kind of figuring, not we as in I was some sort of pioneer, but, I've been into it for 30 or 40 years. Now it's really become commercialized, like everything, hunting and motorcycle ride, every little pastime here in America. I'm going to use exploited in not the worst connotation, and monetized it and everything else. I think about going in a hunting store. It was a hunting section in the back of a department store, and you went back there and you had which flannel am I going to get and which wool pants am I going to wear. Now you have these cathedrals of hunting stores out there. So things have just, I don't know what the last extreme frontiers are out there, but when I have to start picking up my poop on the way to Everest, I just feel like, you know what, maybe I'm going to go, I don't know, sit on my pontoon and go fishing instead.
Probably so. I can't imagine. I agree with you. By the way, there are other summits that no one's ever gotten to the top of because it's too easy. Let's get back to that. I mean, there's a few that you can't get to, so let me see that thrill seeker. Everest is old hat. I say that as a guy who, you give me a mile and a half of switchbacks at sea level, and I'm like, I can't believe what the human body can endure.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I was asked to leave a drum kit. I was forced off a drum kit once, sitting there way too drunk to be involved in this situation. And I'll just go ahead and drop it. It was a crazy story. We were on tour with Robert Plant, and we went out to a bar south side of Chicago, the Checkerboard Lounge, famous blues club, and we're in there. It's my band and Robert Plant in 1990, and we're hanging again with Robert Plant at a blues bar in Chicago, and we're having the best night of our lives. The house band is cooking, and at some point someone said, do you want to get up and play one? And I said, well, sure, and walked onto the stage and sat down, and the first song was some real straight, just as easy as it gets, and I muddled through that. And I was just going to play one, but then the band immediately kicked into a second one, and I could not hear what they were doing. I started to, the room was literally starting to spin, and I couldn't figure out what the beat was supposed to be and where it was supposed to go, and I'm just still trying to play. And one of the guys in the band is looking at me, and he's clapping in some time that to my drunken brain.
Here's how it goes.
He was like, here, right here. He's doing this. He's clapping. And in my head, it sounded like this. I was out of my mind. And the whole time I'm thinking, Robert Plant's watching this. This is terrible. I didn't care that the rest of the guys in my band were embarrassed for me. I was like, and Robert's here. And we stood up to leave. And, oh, by the way, the house drummer came up, and he just stood next to me, and I looked up at him, and he just put his hand out like, hand me the sticks. I just handed him the sticks and stood up and slumped away from the kit. It was beyond humiliating. And also hilarious. Everybody else thought it was hilarious. I was humiliated. And we walked out onto the sidewalk to jump into our van, and Plant goes, you'll get him next time. And he thinks it's hilarious. He's making fun of me. And in my mind, I'm like, I've got to come up with the perfect thing to say. There's got to be something I can say. And I don't remember what it was, but it occurred to me. And I turned to him to say it, and all that came out was copious amounts of vomit.
Oh my God.
Didn't hit him, but all over the sidewalk. And I stood up and I looked at him, and he goes, let's get you to bed. I was like, yeah, it's probably a good idea, Robert Plant.
That's a great story. I love Robert Plant saying, you'll get him next time.
The best part of that, of course, later I was like, that's not the first time he's seen a drummer throw up.
Yeah, right.
But the funniest part of the night happened right when we first got there. We walk in, we sit down, and after we'd been there for a few songs, the band leader, it's like a house band, they're cooking, and then there's like an MC, and he gets up and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a very special guest." Now, we're the youngest people in this bar by a long shot. Robert at the time is in his 40s, and he's younger than everyone else by 20 years. I mean, this is an old original Chicago. Checkerboard's a pretty legendary place. Old beat-up blues bar. And the guy on the stage goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, we got a very special guest in the house tonight. A man who came from England, and he brought the blues back to America. Give it up, Mr. Led Zeppelin. Led, stand up."
Oh, my God.
And, I mean, we fell. Well, there was that immediate pause where we looked to see what he was going to say.
Yeah.
And he burst out laughing. And so we're all, we're laughing. And he stands up and waves. Everyone's applauding. And he goes, "Mr. Led Zeppelin, that's a legend right there, ladies and gentlemen." And he thought it was the funniest thing in the world.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
None of us are getting any younger. Like, just take a look at me and Tony. Look at us. We're just old as hell.
Fountains of youth, baby.
Men do slow down across the board. And I've got a list here. Listen, as we age, things change, including a man's libido. There are things that can be done before maybe going to the little blue pill. Just certain foods that you can eat that are not necessarily aphrodisiacs, but science and health and fitness and nutrition folk all say these do really help. Everything from improving energy to actually boosting testosterone.
My penis?
If you want to get that sex drive back, aging gentlemen, check this out. Here's a list of things you might want to add to your diet. First, watermelon. Watermelon improves blood flow to the heart and sex organs.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, so you'll be spitting seeds before you know it. See what I did there?
Whereas the Blues Brothers said a cool water sandwich.
Cool water sandwich on a Sunday. Go to meat and bun. Bow, bow, bow. How about this? Anyway, watermelon, yes. Always, I'm fine. Never not in the mood for watermelon. Avocado boosts energy and stamina. Also a fan of the avocado. Tony?
Love the avocado.
Yeah, nothing better. I know people, I actually know 2 adults who've never tasted guacamole because they think it looks gross and they're worried about the texture.
People are weird about guacamole. My roommate won't, and it's so annoying. I make the best guac.
Force it on her.
I tell you what, I mean, in guacamole, here's the thing about guacamole. I like it even when it's not good guacamole.
Yeah.
It's just like pizza. It's like the worst you can make it. I'm still going to enjoy it.
Right.
Number 3 on the list, Candace, I'm sorry to tell you that celery is a big part of this list. Raises the odorless hormone released through perspiration that sexually attracts women. And let me tell you something. You give me 2 stalks of celery, and I have to beat women off with a broom.
What the heck?
They say that celery
I'm
and
just kidding.
Pineapple juice.
Celery and pineapple juice.
In that, yeah.
Okay. So if you see a guy just chawing celery, don't be so judgmental, Candace.
Fine.
He's doing that for you.
Okay, I'll try to be less judgmental. I just think it's annoying. Like, celery doesn't taste like anything. I think it ruins soups a lot. People put it in their chicken noodle soups. I just think it ruins it.
But if it doesn't taste like anything, how does it ruin it?
Because I have to eat this tasteless thing.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Ants on a log, man.
Wow. Wait, what was that again? Peanut butter and raisins?
Peanut butter topped with a few raisins on celery.
But you're just eating that so you can taste the peanut butter. It's not about the celery.
I'm fond of the celery.
The celery,
the whole group together.
Celery's like a perfect delivery system. You're not going to just put peanut butter on your finger, although we all have.
I've done that.
But it's a scooper, and then it's just giving you a solid base.
Okay, I'll give it a try.
If you want to, if you're cutting back on carbs, you don't want to have a piece of bread. A piece of celery is nice with the peanut butter. The raisin thing, I like raisins. I like peanut butter, but I just never thought to put them together like that.
Get crazy sometime. Keep an open mind. Sense of adventure. What's the matter with you?
Are either of us really obsessively smooth or crunchy, or is all peanut butter good?
All peanut butter good, but prefer crunchy.
Yeah, I'm with you. But I'm thrilled with smooth peanut butter too. Sometimes
I like it smooth.
The closest peanut butter to me is always a good peanut butter.
Yeah.
Next on the list, Nature's batteries, I like to call them, bananas.
Oh,
Bananas. Enzymes in this fruit do help men get in the mood. Bananas.
Potassium's a turn on.
Yeah, it's like the and you know, if you're going to be cramping, you know, the leg cramps, you want that vitamin K and that potassium.
sure.
That's bananas are going to keep you healthy. Pumpkin seeds, who knew? Boost testosterone and can help sustain a woman's sexual desire. Pumpkin seeds for all my friends. That's it. I'm going to walk around. I'm just going to be Johnny Pumpkin Seed now. Here, you want some pumpkin seeds? Hey, I noticed you're looking a little, I don't know, peaked. Want some pumpkin seeds?
Have a little baggie on you
we
at all
did
times.
That. We did that this year. We made some pumpkin seeds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we gutted the pumpkin.
Right.
As you do on Halloween.
Sure.
And then we roasted those seeds up, and they were pretty good. We put some tahini on them.
And then did you just end up in the sack right after? Was it that
maybe.
quick? Yeah, okay. Honey. No, I'm not calling you honey. I'm saying honey. It impacts neurotransmitters tied to sexual arousal and testosterone production. Did not know. I'm new to the whole concept that if you're dealing with allergies, honey is a good thing to locally sourced honey can help you with like hay fever, like whatever seasonal allergies you may get. Get honey from where you are, from as close as you can, and apparently that's a really helpful way to combat allergies.
Cool.
And never goes bad, ever.
Oh, that's right. Honey, you can just have honey forever.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, the honey industry, they don't want you to know that, but yeah, it's true. It's like I remember when I used to look at, like my first albums, I had Beatles albums, and I'd read the liner notes obsessively because you just sit there and play the album and just read the back of the label. And I would read the actual like disclaimers and stuff, you know, this product. And they used to say, like, this is a product of Capitol Records. And the wording was always, it cannot become obsolete. That was on the back of a jacket, of an album jacket.
Oh, funny.
I'd like to go back and read what that was talking about. But I remember going, it cannot become obsolete. What does this mean?
It's code for something.
And rather than go and ask an adult, I just made up a meaning. Okay, I guess I think I know what that means because, you know, why would I want actual information? Salmon is good for you, gentlemen. Salmon boosts blood circulation, which can help with maintaining an erection. Chauncey does not need salmon, as we've all learned. This is, I mean, look at him now. He's snuggled up, sound asleep, snoring at my feet. But he's the kind of guy who just likes to walk around letting it fly. Just I'm happy to see you, and here's an erection.
And he looks so, his face looks so cute when he does it, too. He's just like, he doesn't even really know what's going on.
No, he doesn't know what's going on. He's just like, I don't know, is it just me, or do you guys feel kind of frisky?
I present to you.
Guys feeling frisky? I sure am. And finally, how about this? Last thing on the list, gentlemen, figs.
Figs, okay.
Figs, packed with amino acids that increase libido and improve stamina. Figs. I don't know if that includes the fig Newton, but when's the last time anyone ate a fig?
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't even know you could, honestly. I just thought they were fig Newtons. Is that something that makes you poop if you're constipated? Or is that a prune?
Well, prunes are they both do, but prunes are the one that definitely, you know, do the job.
I might have to look into that.
Some
For that added benefit.
I love Candace's constipated voice. I'm feeling backed up. I'm feeling chugged up. You know what I could use is some sort of clearinghouse device. Yeah, some prune juice.
Need a release.
Candace's prune juice, available everywhere. I mean, listen, there's some branding to be done with a hot, sexy prune juice angle.
What only prunes will do.
That's right. You know what it's like to feel like
empty.
If you like cheese as much as I do, you're going to need some of my prune juice. And then spell prune like P-R-O-O-N with an umlaut over the O. Prune. Motley Prune.
Oh my God, think of the merch I could make.
That's what I'm saying. We're stumbling into something here. Wheeler's Prune Juice. Rock that bowl.
Yeah.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
So here's something. I mean, as long as we're sharing bizarre notions of you know, what humanity's going to come up with next. There's a university called Bar Ilan in Israel, and the scientists there, some researchers, have grown from scratch a pair of laboratory testicles.
What?
That's nuts.
Pair of testicles.
Yeah, grow a pair. I guess they have. All right.
The tiny artificial organs produced from
Yeah.
cells extracted from the testes of mice resemble the structure and function of natural mouse testicles. Their aim is to develop human testicles from human stem cells to help treat developmental sex disorders and, most importantly, infertility. So, the whole idea of, hey, man, grow a pair, someone took that a little too literally in Israel, and they have got this, they're on the case here. They're working towards growing nuts, basically.
Yeah. All right, but the mouse nuts aren't the one. They're going to do human nuts, right?
Yeah, they're going to move on. Yeah, the everything with the mice is just it's like a trial run, because oddly enough, mice and humans share a lot of common genetic, the way things react with mice and with humans, way more similar than you might imagine.
I forgot my punchline.
Well, I mean, you talk about someone's nuts, and then there's a punch. The idea that the word punch comes in.
This is great news. I've been hoping for build your perfect man, grow your perfect man for years now.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like playing real life mystery date. Open the door, and there's your mystery date. I hope he's got the blazer.
How many testicles would you like your man to have?
Well, okay, I don't know.
Maybe you can change the
7?
shape.
Yeah. I regret this. Talking about
You brought it up.
Well, it's like I said,
kick it around a little
useful
bit
for their purpose. Yeah, absolutely. Grow a pair.
I saw a story that David Beckham, the English soccer star, now the guy who owns the Miami soccer team. He brought Lionel Messi over. He's a big deal, famous guy. Netflix ran the Beckham documentary recently that people all around the world watched endlessly. He's a handsome fella, very famous fella, and in his prime, a great, truly world-class soccer player. I think a lot of Americans were unaware that he wasn't just famous and handsome. He was actually a top-notch player. Apparently, something that a lot of men have noticed is he's got great nipples. Seriously, almond-shaped, stick to the chest. They don't jut out too much. And now a new plastic surgery technique is to get men are getting their nipples worked on.
Oh, yeah.
And the Beckham is a thing. I want David Beckham's nipples. And in New York City, a plastic surgeon says he's doing several a week. And that's the reference point. They come right in and they go, I saw the Beckham documentary. That guy's chest is amazing. I want my nipples to be much smaller and almond-shaped and perfect like his. To which I say, literally, guys, go to the GW Bridge and just hop off.
I mean, it's, I don't know. I have the world's smallest nipples. They're just like two little brown moles. Well, I mean, I have many times. Right there in the radio station. I've been without a shirt more times than I can probably count. I've proven this before and am willing to do it again. But so I don't know. I feel like I'm at that point in my life where I would like to, get nipple reconstruction. I'll have to take a look at the David Beckham nipples. There's some good ones. Harrison Ford is a nice one. They're large. They're round. Not too hairy. I think that might be kind of a nice one to go for. But
speaking of which, was Harrison Ford? Do you think his friends call him Harry? I mean, that's short for Harrison, right?
Sure.
Would he have been a movie star if he'd gone with Harry Ford? Well, I mean, if you saw Star Wars and you're like, that other guy, the kind of pirate character, he's cool. What's his name? Oh, that's Harry Ford. I don't think it would have worked.
I think that's his porn name.
That sounds like a good one, yeah.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
If you have allergies, there is a new gadget called Naso, N-A-S-O, Naso Calm. You strap it to your face, and it literally puts electric jolts into your nose.
What part of that is calm?
You put it on for 15 minutes a day, and it's got 6 electrodes, 3 for each nostril that deliver small electric shots. It stimulates the muscles in your nose. And the claim is that making your nose muscles contract and then relax helps you to clear your sinuses and lets you breathe easier. No. Thank you.
Maybe, allergies are a bitch. And so I could see why people would want relief and maybe go to extreme measures like electrocuting your nose. But maybe let your buddy try it first. And if his hair stands straight out, smoke comes out Candace's ears, we could at least get a viral moment out of it anyway. But yeah, it's like these things. I remember going in for some little muscle therapy on an injury I had, and they put the electronic things on there, and it made your hand jump and your arm twitch and that sort of thing. It might be that same kind of thing, but yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, no, I'm good with just using way too many tissue and nose spray that doesn't really work, and then pining for the days of good old fashioned real Sudafed that used to dry me out but doesn't anymore. I'll just I'll just keep doing that stuff for as long as I'm still around.
They always say breathe the steam in from the shower. How long? You have to be in there for like 2 hours.
Never does a thing. Yeah. Never does a damn thing. Not at all. Anybody ever done what's the thing called where where you pour water in one nostril and it comes out the other, the pot.
Not the neti pot?
Neti pot. By the way, fun fact about me, not only have I never used a neti pot, I swear to you I'd never heard of it until like 3 years ago. And I saw something like on my Facebook feed for it. And I said to my wife, I go, look at this crazy thing. And she looked at me like I was insane. She's like, you've never heard of a neti pot? And I'm like, no. Who the hell's flushing out their nasal passages? And apparently everybody but me. Does it work?
I don't know. I just know it from Crocodile Dundee when the guy's doing coke at the New York party, and he's like, I got something that'll clear you right up. And then he makes him do it, but he's just really stepped up because he's doing a bunch of coke.
Don't remember that at all, but I'd love it if you would do an Australian accent for the rest of the show.
No way.
All we remember is that's not a knife.
That's all I remember.
I love that movie, dude. I've seen the movie like 100 times.
It's not a neti pot. I don't remember a neti pot.
It's a neti pot, mate. I remember, I saw it in the theater when it came out, and I guess I remember it, but what I remember more is that guy, what's his name?
Paul Hogan.
Thank you. Paul Hogan then became literally the world's only Australian you could name. He did all the ads, Australia, Panadol for headache relief, mate. And he was like, throw another shrimp on the barbie and come on down. He got on that tourism tip, and man, that guy, you couldn't get away from him for a little while.
Didn't they just make another one this past summer? What, didn't they?
Know.
I mean, where he popped back in for a cameo or something. I felt like maybe that was a dream. I don't know.
I would watch that for sure.
I was going to say, you and Candace are having the same dreams now? That's weird.
Oh, boy, yeah. I need a neti pot. I need to electrocute my nose. That's what I need. Yeah, no, I had a coworker that used to use that, and he was just very phlegmy. I believe Tony may have even done a parody song on how phlegmy he was, constantly and snorting. And he said he got himself one of these neti pots, and I thought, my God, he said, one day there was so much snot that came out of my face, it was a cup. It filled up an entire measuring cup of just snot.
Yuck.
I wonder if you can use a neti pot on a dog.
It's interesting.
Because, Chauncey would really, boy, as congested as he always
Think he'd sit still for that?
Not a chance.
I don't know.
Not a chance. No way in
Well, maybe if you
hell.
let him eat some more painkillers or something. Not that you let him eat painkillers.
Chauncey had a big weekend. Friday. He spent Friday night in a hotel. How about that?
What? Fancy.
Had himself a little getaway with Rosemary. Yeah.
Wore the robe.
Pretty excited. He did. He was feeling it. She said he knew it was a hotel because he slept it. Like he didn't wake up to get out. He was like, I'll just hold it, not get off this bed for a while. That was pretty exciting. And I mentioned that because I just saw this weirdest things left in hotels last year. Have you ever left something behind at a hotel?
Oh, yeah, lots of things, but nothing weird, those blocks, charging cords galore.
Yeah.
So much so that when I go in now, I don't even replace the charging cord. I just wait till I go to another hotel and go up to the desk and say, you wouldn't happen to have a charging cord for my phone? And they pull out a box of 1,500 charging cords.
Yep, it's very true. I did the same thing. I left a laptop charging cord. As many hotels as I was in for years and years and years on the road, I have lost 2 things that I know of total because I was obsessed with not losing stuff. I lost my keys once in like college, and I couldn't sleep for weeks. I just hated the idea of losing like my keys, and then I also lost my wallet in my early 20s, and it's whoa my God, it was awful. And so when I started traveling, I had a really solid thing. I mean, I would, before I leave, my dummy check is hardcore before I leave a room because I don't want to forget something. That said, I left a laptop charger at a hotel in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 2008, and I got on and I left the hotel that morning, went to the airport, was sitting on the plane and went, oh my God, that charger's in the wall. I mean, it just hit me like I had, and I looked at my bag, and sure enough, and it wound me up to no end. And my tour manager goes, just don't worry about it. Just next hotel. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, do you know how many chargers? Every hotel we go into, if you ever need anything to charge anything, they've got one. And you're exactly right, Zepp. I went in there and I go, hey, anybody turn in I just waited till the second day there. I said, I think I did by any chance you got like a MacBook charger? And the same thing. They're like, yeah, I got 56 of them. I was like, oh, that'll do. Thanks. It's fantastic. But here's some things that were left behind. This is a list. The travel company put up the 10 weirdest things left in hotel rooms last year. Number 1, dentures. How?
Oh.
How?
How do you get? Yeah, I mean, you would know if you're.
Something doesn't feel right.
Maybe you travel with backup. Maybe you travel with a backup set, and those were had those in that. I was going to say I was going to say you're charging the backups, but maybe you had them in that glass with the what? Remember the drops they used to have the TV commercial? It looked like Alka-Seltzer.
Effordent.
Effordent.
Oh yeah, right. Effordent. I remember my mom has dentures. Maybe 27 years of age, had to have all of her teeth pulled.
My mom, exact same thing with my mom in her 20s.
Weird.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I still contend that, it was just one of these weird dentist things out in the Appalachians. She was raised in the Appalachians of Pennsylvania, out in the sticks, as they literally called it. And, she said, 27, and said, your teeth, you just got to pull them all. I'm like, wow. And Dad didn't drive you into Harrisburg or Pittsburgh or something and get a second opinion. But, Mom's got the choppers, which I don't know if your mom has done this, but like, 3 times in her life, she's gotten new dentures, which changes her look and her face, which on other people, you're like, oh, I see you got some new dentures. Whatever. Quickly get over it. But with your mom, it changed her look. I didn't like it.
But they're choppers.
I don't remember that actually happening, but no, I honestly don't. But that's not to say it hasn't. I just don't pay attention, I guess.
Yeah.
To your mom, come on.
So maybe there's backups. Maybe you were effort-denting the backups and you left them. But here's number 2, Candace. I'd like to get your thoughts. Witchcraft paraphernalia.
Oh yeah. I mean, I might have. No. I would never leave any of my tools behind.
I can see witchcraft paraphernalia being left behind because the feds are closing in and you've crossed state lines already and you got to get out in a hurry. How about this? Again, on the same as dentures, how in the world? Number 3 on the list is prosthetic limbs.
What? Nope. That's expensive.
How can you expensive, and also again, what part of you forgot to attach a leg or arm that you needed?
Well, you're in a hurry.
You typically don't have, unlike dentures, and I don't know if you have a spare pair of dentures or not, but you don't have extra prosthetic limbs usually laying around.
I would
think.
Just
you know what? His you know what?
Sorry?
Maybe it was a prosthetic you know what?
Prosthetic pee-pee?
Yeah, maybe he had different sizes.
Still wouldn't forget it.
Yeah, we had in a movie, American Pie or
There's
something?
a guy that called
Harry
in and
Potter?
said he works in one of those factories that makes them.
Oh, well, I know they have we used to play baseball around the studio. Somebody brought in prosthetic testicles, and guys had testicular cancer. They had 3 sizes, and
Yeah.
Prosthetic, but you're saying there is a prosthetic manhood, a man root.
Yes.
Like not just an enlargement kit.
It's 2 artificial cylinders that fill with fluid to allow the penis to become hard.
But I thought when that was in there, that was a permanent thing. That's something you just apply and then get rid of. I didn't realize.
I don't know.
I would like to think that you could have like a Mr. Potato Head, different attachments for different circumstances.
That'd be great.
I'm still just utilizing the one I was born with. I don't know. That's just me.
Okay. Well, when you have a little time later on today, gang, go ahead and Google that like I just did and hit images.
No thanks.
Wow.
Here's one I can imagine, a glass eye.
I found a glass eye in the street when I was a kid.
Oh my God, are you
I hope
serious?
you're for real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a real one.
Man,
What happened
that's
to it?
I still got it in the drawers
Nice.
somewhere. Yeah.
that's a Rob Reiner movie waiting to happen. The Glass Eye.
Creepy.
Wow, you have it still for real?
I think so.
Oh my
That's
God.
cool.
Tony found a glass eye. No way! Let's get over there. Let's take
It
our
is.
bicycles. Hang on. Let me get some trading cards and
Right.
clothespins.
Oh,
I was
so-
suddenly
so
10
real.
again.
That's what I'm saying. That's a throwback moment if there ever was one. Also left behind in a hotel room last year, thousands of German marks, which was the official currency of West Germany and, of course, the unified Germany up until 2002 when the euro came in. They were stashed behind a toilet water tank in a hotel. A bunch of money that you can't use anymore. It's literally, I don't think there's a market for money that's no longer utilized, is there?
Fascinating.
Don't ask me. I have no idea, but that's cool. I want to know the story.
I had a very costly, long story short, and I can't go into details, but there was a promotional tour for a band I used to play in, and one of the band guys, not named me, we were doing an interview out in a wooded area, and something was disagreeing with his little tum-tum, and he had to go take care of business in the woods, and there was no leaves or anything, and I had to give him all my money so he could wipe himself.
Oh, my gosh.
That's a true story. It cost me 80 Deutschmarks, the most
my
expensive
God.
dump I never took, but someone else did.
Oh, I think I'd be like, buddy, you're going to have to sacrifice your drawers or the
It was pretty.
T-shirt or
It was pretty
something.
outstanding. He
Was
goes,
somebody,
"Hey,
someone
man,
down on their luck and they found that money? Would they
you got any?
keep it?
Hey man, you got any money? I go, what are you talking about? Come on, man. There's no. And I was like, you don't have any? He goes, I already used all mine. I need more. And I had 4 20s. And I was like 80 Deutschmarks,
man.
which was like at the time about $80. And I was like, come on, man, are you serious? He goes, I will pay you back as soon as we get back in town. And it was like, all right, here you go. And I always thought that was pretty funny.
What's he eating, for God's sakes, man? Have you
I
ever
don't
heard of
know.
a clean pinch? Well, we did the story. Tony said, what if someone found it a couple of weeks ago?
That's
I
right.
said, when do you go through your dog's poop? When they eat $4,000 and they had to rinse off that money and. But then they got it replaced because you can't get dog
Yeah, this
food.
is totally different. This is just some guy walking through, probably with a metal detector. I think we can find some old coins from the Altenwagen Bismarck era. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh my gosh, this is crappy money, but I'll rinse it off. It'll be as good as new. I get a new metal detector with the crap money I found.
The crap money. I met my buddy Ronnie one time. He just texted me to remind me of this. Good morning, Ronnie. Glad you're still out there, brother. Haven't seen you in a while. We took a ski trip, a bunch of us guys, and this is when the iPads just came out. I think it was an iPad. Maybe it was one of the other iPhone dealies. And he forgot it. And we were, I don't know, 4 hours down the road driving back from Montana.
Mm-hmm.
We turned around and we called. We stopped. Called the hotel. They said, yeah, we did find it. One of the maids mentioned it. In fact, the room's not rented out. If you come back, you can go up and get it. Okay, great. And we found out when we got there, and they said, no, it's still up in the room. So he goes up to the room. He grabs it. And he's like, sweet. And it flies out of his hand and smashes against the dresser there. And we just looked at him like, you freaking moron. We drove 8 hours out of our way
Ouch.
so that you could break it.
That's not good.
No, so don't go back.
I did leave. This is early 19. This is so long. I don't even remember the year. I left I had a napkin with a phone number on it. And I left. That's one thing I left behind. That's this is like late 80s. This is local band days. And I met a girl, and it was like, I think she might be the one. We've really had a connection. And she said, oh, well, if next time you guys are here, call me. And I had her number. And this is when there's like 6 people crammed into one motel room at a time. And got up the next day, and we were like driving back to Atlanta. And I just remember suddenly that thing of like, the one phone number of I had a girl. This was supposed to be the one. And never got it back. And I was like, wait a minute. I wrote it down. I remember everything I write down, and couldn't get close.
Damn.
Tried. Made a few calls. I think it was, I know the area code. And then I think it started with a 5. I'm pretty sure it was 59562. Tried a few things, and then I was like, back then long distance calls cost money.
Yeah.
If you only have a few misses, then it's like, forget it.
Run out
If
of
it's
change.
meant to be, it's meant to be.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
There is a gentleman in Florida who's feeling pretty good right now, at least feeling better. He has to live with a few hard, cold, unfortunate truths about himself. That's another story. But right now, physically better anyway. Here are the cliff notes. A gentleman said he's been feeling off. That was his word. Since around sometime in October. And then lately he started noticing, my face feels kind of weird. Goes to the mirror, face and lips, a little bit of swelling back on February 9th. And then he started getting nosebleeds, constant nosebleeds. He said he couldn't even get up and go to the bathroom without his nose bleeding. So he went to the hospital, and he's a cancer survivor. And he had been through a lot of radiation and chemo in the past, and he thought maybe something's going on with in my head, my sinuses. He went into the doctor, explained what was going on. And that's when it got really, really weird. This is an interview we're reading from the New York Post. Dr. David Carlson said, well, I examined the man's nose with a camera. They've got those tiny little cameras attached to a hose they can put up in your nose because he wants to go in and see if there's anything going on with the gentleman's sinuses. What he discovered was this. Candace, I apologize. Dozens of bugs. Dozens feeding on the inside of the nose and sinus cavity. They were shedding tissue and excrement, which is what spurred the man's inflammation. Here's the doctor's quote. Size-wise, there were variations, but the larger ones were as big as the end of my pinky.
Oh my God.
They tried to remove them with a suction hose, but then that got clogged. They used a lot of different instruments to pluck them out, and those little buggers, according to the doctor, did not want to be evicted. And here's where it really goes off to another level. They were right up against his skull base, right under the brain. Had they gone through that, it absolutely would have killed him. Yeah. Now, are you ready? Now, Zepp, you asked the question earlier, how many bugs can you put up one man's nose? If the answer is more than one, you got a problem. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think I would notice the first bug up my nose. Are we ready? 150. That's the answer.
I get like a half a booger going, or that stray hair, that I couldn't get clipped, and I'm like, it's bugging me, and I'm picking and blowing, and 150 bugs up your nose, eating your snot and crapping away, and I don't. Yep. No words. Yep. I've got nothing for you.
Now, the man is, to this day, he doesn't want his name out there. He's
really?
staying unidentified, which thank you for that. He did say, I know I'm going to have to change my lifestyle as far as when I handle fish.
Yes.
He said there's parasites from dead fish must have gotten in. He said, before I would rinse my hands in the river. Now I'll use cleaner to do a better job and make sure not to touch my nose to my hand.
You just rinse them in the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you
sanitary.
Pick up bugs and stick them right in your nose. You're taking them from the river and putting them up into your nasal cavity.
There is a condition called nasal don't worry about it. You're never going to get it. Nasal myiasis or something. My ass is itchy just thinking about this.
Yeah.
Nasal myiasis, which is the infestation of fly larvae. Larva. That's what this was apparently. So this guy, by the way, I mentioned he had a cancerous tumor in his nose. That's 30 years ago, however. I mean, it's been 30 years cancer-free, but of course it stays on your mind. Like, wait, this thing must be back. So imagine, it must be terrifying thinking, oh my God, I must have another tumor in my nose.
Yeah.
Would you be relieved when they say it's not cancer, or would you be horrified? Oh, I wish it was cancer. Instead, it's 150 larvae.
I mean, you don't want the cancer, right? But I would think you'd be a little bit more sensitive and, pay closer attention to your nose because you've had the cancer. The first time I feel a tickle or my nose is bleeding, I'm, going to be very reactive to that. But this guy let it go so that 150 bugs. He didn't shove 150 bugs up his nose. They've been breeding and having more bugs and creating a little bug city right there.
Inviting
up against
friends.
The base of your, right. Come on over. This guy's nose. He's not doing jack squat about it. It's like the parents are never coming home. You just keep inviting more bugs to the party.
I wonder if it did occur to any of them. They could have incorporated. Just go Bug City, Florida, right there up this guy's nose.
Well, he's a Florida guy, too.
I could see something. I could see that. Yeah, that is something, boy.
I love that they tried to use a shop vac or their medical version of it, but it got plugged. So many bugs up your nose. Oh, my God. Oh, there's pictures. Don't Google it. Google it today.
Yeah, I meant to say that. Don't add that to the list of things not to Google.
Would you go with the Navage or the neti pot after that?
I think I would I would legitimately look at the man and say, can I just get a head transplant? Can you just remove my entire skull and take my head off at the neck and give me a new one?
Start snorting pesticide, like cocaine.
Oh my God!
Get it up there.
Oh wow! Yeah, like to your point, Zepp. If I can feel the early stage formation of a good golden nugget booger. How do you by lunch this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, some of them are the tip of a finger. They're up in there. They're squirming around. They're having a rave. And you're like, man, I did have cancer up there 30 years ago, but I'm sure it's nothing.
We talked about the guy who did the Guinness Book of World Records last week. He got 168, I believe it was, matchsticks in his nose. But sadly did not like them. I wanted him to set a fire. I want to see a guy with 168 matches in his nose that are alit. That's the world record I'm waiting on.
You know what I did with speaking of matches the other night?
Tell me.
So I was just trying to light a candle, and I decided they smelled, like the match itself smelled really good. So I lit the candle, and then I sniffed the match, and I pretty much burned out my whole inside of my nostril. I don't know. I didn't even think about it. I was just like, "Ooh, this smells so good," because I like the smell of matches.
That is not funny, but I'm laughing.
It was a good way to clean out the nose hairs, at least.
Yeah.
Wow.
What was your medication that night? Was it margaritas? Perhaps a Cosmopolitan?
I just you guys ever do dumb stuff like that and not even think about it?
Never.
I'm 7. I'm perfect.
Although I'm pretty sure I had food poisoning yesterday, so.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.